Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Veil with Adina. I am Adina, you guys' hostess with the mostest. Oh, I feel like the way I look. Oh well. I am happy to see you guys. I will not be here long. I'm just doing a check-in. So if you're new here, I am not going to run through my usual introduction. I just welcome you and thank you for stopping by. This is just me stopping in on my little breaky break to check in with my community and let everybody know that I am okay. Hey, Sammy. Hey, one of one. Hey, the goddess of love. Oh, it's hot. I'm hot. Thank you, Chi Chi. This is the fastest YouTube has ever alerted you guys that I'm live. I feel like I look a little okay. You guys mind holding on a second so that I can grab something real quick? Okay, just hold on 1 second. Okay. All right. Woo. Hey guys. Ooh. Had to run out real quick and run right back in. Hey Adorned. Hey Sissy. It's hot in this house. Hey Roxanne. You guys, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I probably look like lounging around the house because that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing. I've been lounging around the house, relaxing, something that I apparently have not been doing. So I just wanted to stop in because I am going to continue relaxing today. I have been in front of the TV in my bed watching American Gods again for the 5011th time on my laptop, being unbothered. Everybody just been checking up on me and letting me have space. And I really just wanted to pop in so I could let you guys know that I am okay. And just to explain the life lesson that I have learned in the past few days. Sissy, relaxing is medication, and it is something that I apparently have not been doing enough of. I've been told that I am running myself into the ground, honey. So, this health experience came with a little bit of therapy for myself because after finding out that I have been operating with my blood pressure sky high for at least a month and a half now. And that is why I had a crash out and a darn near heart attack because, and for any of you guys who was just in my last members live, if anybody remembers in the middle of my live, I was like, my mouth tastes like blood. Do you guys remember me saying my mouth tastes like blood in my members live? That was the day before I ended up in the hospital. Y'all, my blood pressure it's been high for like a month and a half. And I just been thugging. I didn't even know. So I kind of knew a little bit. I am not diagnosed officially with high blood pressure, although I probably will be this week at my follow up with my PCP. Um, but this is a lesson, especially to the Negro community. And some people also, reached out to me and thought that I might have endured a spiritual attack. And for those who thought that somebody tried to man down the goddess, I can say that I haven't been reading on myself to see, but if it was a spiritual attack, that's all they got. I'm supposed to be dead. I ain't supposed to be here then. So I say that to say spiritual attacks may come and go, but the results is if you guys can um lay a pimp out, and I ain't been laid out yet. Um so if that was a spiritual attack, then it actually worked for my good, which all things work for my good. And if I'm not dead, then you guys fucked up. You guys fucked up. I don't think it was an attack though. However, I do think it was negligence on my own part, which is why I'm here getting ready to share what I have learned about myself and about health, and just sharing my testimony because I am very vulnerable, and no one would be able to think that I'm being spiritually attacked unless I told you guys what was going on with me. And I like to be open because and I like to share things. Well, for one, I wanted to share that I was not feeling well with my members so they didn't think that I went on a hiatus or I abandoned them, but also so that I can give my own testimonies. My whole life is a testimony. And if you let life teach you things, then everything will be a testimony. You love to see me with a Jerry curl? Then maybe I will post one of my elementary school pictures when I had one. I had a Jerry curl dripping all the way down my back. Anyways, you're here to troll, and I am just here briefly to give an update to my members. If you are not, please leave before I curse thee. Anyways, so I have been operating under what I like to call survival mode. Typically, I am not a person who feels comfortable resting. I feel like I have to be busy all the time, or else I feel some sort of shame or guilt. I don't know why, but I do. And I probably didn't realize that it was shame or guilt until I was forced to sit down. But I've shared before that I really take naps and I work all through the day and all through the night. I can skip meals and things like that. And while I say all that, and I used to say it as a badge of honor, because it showed how much of a hard worker I am. And for some reason, I take pride in the idea of being a very hard worker and being productive. But what I neglect is myself. I am in the business of service. Besides being a woo lady, I'm a realtor. And so both of my jobs require me to service people. And in doing that, that typically um, gives me an outlet to not take care of myself. And a part of that feels like maybe a little bit of lack of self worth for someone who doesn't stop to think that taking care of themselves is important. And maybe I have thought that I was taking care of myself, but it was important for me as after my divorce. And to be honest, that's what changed me. Divorce changed me. Being with someone for 13 years, and then overnight them telling you, I think I just want to experience not being married anymore. And then having to, you know, kind of, like reset, start life over after someone that dedicate their life to you kind of just tosses you aside. It's a little bit of rejection. But I never stopped to, I can't say I didn't stop to grieve because I did, but divorce taught me, all right, well, to you can't really stop to like do what most women would do, and that's look for another man. I'm not that kind of girl. Most girls, most women, they would break up and then they give themselves maybe 2 or 3 months and then it's time to hit the dating scene and then find a new man and fall in love again. And I'm just not that kind of girl. Um, so since 2019, I have been on a mission to get myself to a point where no one can put me in that position again. And maybe, just maybe, that is where this idea of survival mode came in, even though I'm not in survival mode in my mind. I've been stuck in survival mode since 2019. And I actually can say that it's been this entire time. I haven't given myself any breaks. I haven't been on any vacations, not any real vacations, um, in over a decade, to be honest. Um, 2016 was when I started entrepreneurship. 2022 is when I became a full time independent contractor and entrepreneur. And since then, I have been focused on making sure that my lifestyle looks the same, if not better, than it has when I had a husband and then when I had a 9 to 5 to clock into, and I knew, what I could calculate what my livelihood would be like. And because I wanted to prove something to myself. Um, and so I guess now I've reached a point where I probably have gotten there, but I have not stopped to recognize that I'm in a safe space. I have continued to just go, go, go. And that's because I am geared toward my visions in my mind, where I see myself. And then I never realize when I have accomplished a goal, because there's always several more. There is where the brakes do not come in. The rest doesn't stop, or the survival mode hasn't stopped, because in my mind, I continue to move the goalposts for myself. And so there's never any point where I can stop, smell the roses, relax before I start the next journey. I just keep rolling and rolling and rolling. And there's really nobody in my life to hold me accountable to myself, because I am very private. So even the people closest to me may never know how much pressure or how much stress that I'm putting on myself or the world is putting on me. So when it came down to the past month or so, I've been having certain symptoms that maybe I didn't know to attribute to high blood pressure. Some of them I did, some of the ones that I'm most familiar with. And in my mind, it might have been high for a second, but then it went away. But according to the doctors, I have been operating on a high blood pressure for at least a month and a half, and I crashed. Um, when was this? Thursday or Friday? I can't remember what it was. Thursday is when I went to the hospital. Now, just to let you guys know, I went to the hospital and was released the same day. So I wasn't kept in there for a long time, but well, actually, I was kept in there pretty much all day. They didn't admit me, but I was in there all day until they could get my heart rate down. By the time I went to the hospital, my blood pressure actually was not off the charts. It was my heart. When I pulled over into a Burger King parking lot because I felt like I was about to pass out and I was short of breath, and I felt like I had a Charlie horse, a cramp in the left side of my chest. I was on the phone with my cousin getting ready to go and get some hibiscus. I am not, because I have not officially been diagnosed with high blood pressure. That will probably come um, on Wednesday when I go to my PCP. But in the past, a couple of years ago, I was admitted to the hospital for having anxiety related blood pressure issues. And I shared that I had a situation with my family member. My uncle got high as a kite on that crack, and he was tweaking out. And it stressed me the fuck out, and it spiked my blood pressure. And I ended up in the emergency room. And they did not tell me that I had hypertension, but they told me to manage my stress, because I guess being under a lot of stress would trigger high blood pressure for me. High blood pressure runs on both sides of my family, and Yes. I won't say I have a problem drinking coffee. I have had a coffee addiction. And before I went to the hospital, I had just left Dunkin' Donut and picked up a nice iced latte, which I hadn't had in a few days because my blood pressure had been so high that I was fatigued and stuck in the bed for 2 days. If Mama Fakit is in here, Tierra, you remember me mentioning that I had started taking vitamin D because I had been in the bed for days. And I thought it was my vitamin D that was low. But bitch, my blood pressure had been high, so high for so long that it had knocked me out. And I didn't even attribute that to high blood. Tierra, that's what it was. It wasn't even the vitamin D, girl. I was almost dead. So I'm on my way to go get some hibiscus because when I got back from the gym on Thursday, and that was my first time going in about 3 days because I could not get out of bed. I was so fatigued. And really I thought it was because I was in the middle of contract negotiations. I just been busy. And so I just thought, I'm fatigued. Yes, how the fuck was I supposed to know? And nobody's ever diagnosed me. No alcohol. I haven't drank in a while. Fun fact, I drink socially and I don't have much of a social life. So no, I don't have an alcohol problem at all. I may have one drink in a month, maybe. And that I won't even say that's every month. Um, I am a smoker. I am a marijuana girl. I don't really drink that much. Um, I used to drink a lot of wine, but I don't even drink that much anymore. The older I've gotten, the less alcohol I consume. But marijuana is my vice because it helps me not be so stressed out. It helps me, honey. And to be honest, I hadn't even been smoking because the blood pressure had me fatigued. I've been in the bed and didn't know why, just trying to function. I did have now when my blood pressure is high, I sometimes can get nosebleeds in my right nostril. It's always my right nostril. And it's not like a full on bleeding. It's just my nose will start getting runny. And then when I dab it, it might be a little hint of blood. That sometimes lets me know that my blood pressure is high. Constitution, yes, I've been eating real crazy. I've been eating like I ain't have blood pressure. I've been eating like I have normally. I've always been able to eat what I want, but I am at the age where people in my family start becoming diagnosed. So I'll be 39 in October, and in both sides of my family, when everybody gets close to the in their 40s, that's when the high blood pressure issues kick in. And bitch, I guess I was up next. I just didn't know until I knew. So after I left the gym and drank that iced coffee, which was my first in a few days, I actually felt fine. But then I did not feel fine. It just happened instantly. So I called my cousin. I have several nurses in my family, but my BFF is my cousin who's in nursing school, and she's had every health issues known to man. And so I always call. We talk every day. So I had been joking around with my family. Sleep schedule had been horrible. I am notorious for not sleeping, which is why I have allowed myself to take a break these past few days. And the only reason I'm here is because I still have a little guilt about taking a break. So I feel the need to explain to everybody why I'm taking a break because it's not like me. It is a huge problem. I'm getting to this though. I've had an epiphany, original DJ. I've had an epiphany. I'm there now. I'm there. So I was on the phone with her and I've been joking to my family that them ribs that I ate over Memorial Day almost killed me. I've been saying it as a joke, but in the back of my mind, it was always like, well, damn, after I ate them ribs, that's when I haven't been able to get out of bed. But I've been having a little bit more symptoms before then. But Memorial Day, I ate tons of ribs. I didn't drink a lot of water. I was in the middle of contract negotiations. I was high, it's very high stress. I'm dealing with a seven-figure real estate transaction. Um, so negotiations took 4 days, and it's just been a lot. But that's what I've been attributing to my recent fatigue and stuff. It's just like, okay, I'm busy. But I figure, once I get this contract executed and get things, to title, then I can kind of relax. Once we get everything to title, then it's kind of a smooth sailing up until closing. So that's, I mean, and I work really hard. I'm not gonna say I don't work hard. I work hard, and I pride myself on being a workaholic. Um, Unlike most women who pride themselves on their beauty and things like that, my pride for myself is in my brains and my results. I'm very masculine in that way. And divorce made me that way. That's just to be 100. Divorce made me that way, um, because that happened so suddenly. So my only thought was survival, and making sure, again, I say making sure that I'll never be put in a position like that again. So, anyways, I'm on the phone with my cousin because all of a sudden I start, I felt the like a Charlie horse, a tightening in the left side of my chest. So I was asking my cousin, I was like, "You think I'm gonna die?" I, she thought, she was like, "No, you're not gonna die. You just need to relax. Da 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 da. Drink some water." And so I started kind of panicking a little bit. So I stood up, walked outside so I can, get some fresh air. And I tried to do some breathing. But the more I inhaled, the more I felt that pain in my chest. And I kept feeling my heart rate was speeding up. And then I started freaking out because I felt my heart pounding out of my chest. And then my chest was hurting. My neck was tight. So in my mind, you're about to have a heart attack or your blood pressure is through the roof. So I'm like, let me go and get some hibiscus because I am a herbalist, and I became one because everybody in my family has high blood pressure and I wanted to save them. So I've learned that drinking hibiscus tea, will lower your blood pressure instantly. That is a fun fact for you guys. Instantly, it will drop your blood pressure. It's up to you to figure out, the triggers. But if it's high, if you have access to hibiscus flower, get you some hibiscus tea and drink it. Your blood pressure will drop instantly. And that's enough for you to, if you're in an emergency, get to the hospital or something like that. 1 cup, you will go from, so for instance, this morning, I woke up and my blood pressure was 130 over 85. That just means elevated. I immediately got up, made some hibiscus tea. 30 minutes after I drank that tea, and I didn't even make it through the whole glass, I was at 117 over 72. 30 minutes from the time it hit my lips. So I was on the phone with my cousin telling her, let me go to Bravo, the supermarket, and get me some hibiscus so I can make some tea. So I was on the phone with her. I'm driving. I get maybe 2 miles, a mile and a half down the road from my house. And I just started feeling dizzy, short of breath. So I was on the phone with her and I was like, wait a second. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it. And I was like, wait a second, wait a second, wait a second. Talia, I don't think I'm gonna make it. I don't think I'm gonna make it. And she was like, just go to the hospital then. And then I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna just drive myself to the hospital. But then I start getting short of breath and then I start panicking. And I was like, I don't think I'm gonna make it to the hospital. I think I need to call 911. So she was like, hang up, call 911. I was right by a Burger King. I pulled right into the driveway, parked, and I called 911. And by the time I called 911, I was probably going into shock. Um, I could feel my heart. It felt like I was going to die at any moment because I could not get myself to calm down. I was on the phone with 911. I was pacing in the parking lot because I felt like if I sat down, I wouldn't be able to breathe. Sitting down made me feel like I couldn't breathe. Standing up helped me. Pacing made me feel like I was doing something to help myself. And for me, It's all in the mind. It's all in the mind for me. So I had to trick myself into thinking that I was capable of saving my own life. So they were telling me 911 made sure to stay on the phone with me, and they actually told me to sit down, and I said absolutely not. If I sit down, I may not get back up. Um, and people were coming in and out of Burger King, and they were watching me. Everything was making me anxious. The traffic, the people watching me, the fact that I felt like at any moment I can pass out. It took everything in me to stay conscious. That's all I could focus on, was staying conscious, because I feel like all I want to do is close my eyes. That I feel like all I want to do is close my eyes and go to sleep. But I was like, bitch, if you do that, you're gonna die. So the fire rescue got there first, and they were asking me questions, and I had to make sure that I could answer them. It, like, the way I had to focus my mind on making sure my mind was sharp, even though I felt it feeling all woozy. But I feel like they're asking me questions to make sure I'm coherent. So stay coherent, because they asked me the same question several times. When they put that heart rate clip thingy on my finger, and they looked at each other and said, she's tapping out. I looked at that machine and it said 178, 188, 190, and then it started blinking. I said, oh. They looking at each other talking about she's tapping out. I said, what does that mean? What the fuck does that mean? They're looking at each other concerned. They're looking at me concerned. And all of the concern is making me go into shock. And they're continuing to say she's tapping out. I don't know what that means, but I know it's bad, bitch. And later on, I found out that that means my heart rate. It was too high. Tapping out means she finna tap out. I'm telling it as it is now, because I'm going to tell you guys how godly I am. I'm about to tell you guys that I am a superhero. Hold on, just hold on. Let me tell my testimony. Because if I ever thought that I wasn't regular, I know I ain't regular now. The doctors confirmed it. They said I'm a superhero. And I said, I know now. So if I ever let anybody play on my top before, ooh, ooh, if y'all thought I liked to pop my shit before, I have brought myself from the brink of death. And the doctor said, we've never seen anybody do what you did for yourself. Keep yourself together like that. Keep yourself alive like that. But they put that clip on my finger and they looked at each other and said, she's tapping out. So in my mind, I have to stay alert. My brain has to stay focused on being alert. I cannot let the way I feel take over me. Stay focused, stay alert, breathe. This is what I'm telling myself, breathe. However, my body is not doing any of that. My heart is, I'm watching my heart rate surpass. The last time I looked at it, it said 191, and I stopped looking because they said I'm finna tap out. If I keep looking at my heart rate going up like that, then I'm for sure going to tap the fuck out, because I'm going into shock. It's just like, at some point, everything was freaking me out. Cars, everything. I don't even, my cousin must have called my mama, because she popped up there before the paramedics got there. Fire rescue got there first, but they had to wait on paramedics to transport me. My mama came up there, and I can barely remember. All I remember is seeing is seeing her car, seeing her car fly in the parking lot, almost on two wheels. She ain't parked normal. And then I remember seeing her face, and then I remember them talking to her and her asking them what's going on with my child, and then them saying she's tapping out. That's the word they kept using, tapping out, her heart rate, tapping out. And so then I hear more sirens, and I can see the paramedics bogarting their way through traffic. And they got there, and I'm thinking, please give me a shot in my chest. Give me some kind of steroid. I don't care how y'all do it, like in the movies, just stab me in my chest, please, please, please. And I actually said that I was saying, I, listen, I was telling them people, I need someone to help me. I was speaking so calm, but because of what I felt in my body, I said, I need someone to help me. Please help me. Y'all, I did not, at that moment, I did not think that I was going to make it to the hospital. And I was too dehydrated to cry. But on the inside, I'm thinking, I'm left to process and procedure. I got to wait for them to get here. I got to wait for them to do this. And I might not make it. And so they asked me, what hospital did I want to go to? And I said, please just take me to the nearest one who can help me. So when the paramedics got there, um, I was freaking out. I asked them to let my mom ride because I felt like if I saw a familiar face, I could calm myself down, but they couldn't. So they told her where they were going to take me, and we didn't leave that parking lot for like 15 minutes. I was so upset, but they were trying to get me stable. So we got in there and they tried to lay me on the stretcher. I said, no, sit me up, bitch. Sit me up. If I lay down, I'm not coming back up. I have to stay up. I got to stay up so that I feel alive. The only thing I can think of is feeling alive. Try to feel alive because I did not. I did not feel alive. And I'm not going to lie, you all crossed my mind. You did. Because I was thinking, my busted babies is going to cuss me the fuck out when they find out I done died on them. I was like, oh my God, who's going to tell them? Who's going to tell them? Who's going to tell them about my funeral? I thought about you guys and the paramedics because I was just like, oh my God, my clients are going to be devastated. The busted babies are going to be devastated when they found out I done went to glory. After I told them that I wasn't supposed to go to glory until I was an old lady. And now they going to think that my spirits are a liar. And now they ain't going to have faith no more. I was concerned that y'all wouldn't have faith in the Lord. Not for myself. My thing is, spirit, anything that I tell them is because I know y'all told me. So don't make me look like a liar for listening to y'all. That is my issue with dying. Because I was 12 when my spirits told me. I was in the ICU fighting for my life, having chronic asthma in the ICU at 12, thinking I was gonna die. And I could literally hear a voice in my ear saying, you have to work for me, but in return for the life that you have to live, because it won't be easy, we'll let you die peacefully. So so I've been holding myself to that since I was 12 years old because it's been a fact to me. And I've overcome everything. Everything. Not saying the weapons haven't been formed, but they ain't prospered. And I always bounce back more powerful than I've ever been. So, so I'm in the paramedics, and the look on the guy's face, his face is all pale. In my mind, he understands how serious it is, but he don't want to tell me. Not telling me how serious it is going to make me freak out. I need to know what's going on so that I can talk myself through it. Nobody can save me better than me because I have a very strong brain, very powerful brain. And my brain is it's how my woo works. It's how I get results for y'all. So I need 100% honesty. Like I said, I ain't one of them girls who you can date and then feel like you need to lie to protect my feelings. That's going to do more damage. You have to tell me exactly what's going on, even if you think I'm not going to like it. I like it when you tell me the truth so that I can process things in a logical way because I'm not an emotional person. I survive off of logic. You would have figured I chose. No, I would tell y'all. No, I told y'all I am going to die an old lady. That's not something that I agreed on. Spirits told me that the first time I ever thought I was going to die from an asthma attack when I was 12 in the intensive care unit, laying there fighting for every breath in my body, being plugged up to an oxygen machine for days because I have to have it. Otherwise, my lungs weren't strong enough. It was then because I was ready to go when I was 12. I was ready to die then because I was tired of fighting my lungs to breathe. And that's when I heard that voice in my ear that said, unfortunately for you, you have to endure because you got work to do for us. But there will be a reward for you. And that is a peaceful death that you will be able to say, okay, but it's when I'm old. I just got too much to do. And that's because when I was 12, I was ready to go. I wasn't going to fight it. I wasn't going to fight it when I was 12. I was laying in the ICU, tired of trying to breathe. If you ever had chronic asthma, where it's chronic to where you end up in the ICU, after an asthma attack, you can be weak for a week or weeks, depending on how bad it was, because of how tight your lungs get and how much your body is literally working to get the smallest amount of oxygen in. It makes you tired. It makes you too tired to try to breathe anymore, which is why I've been in the ICU twice before I was 18 from chronic asthma. And both times I had to stay there for a week because when you're that young, you don't have the strength to fight your body like that. If your lungs close up on you, bitch, what can you do? But I fought through that then. So, anyways, they wanted me to lay back. I could not. So my thing was to tell them everything that was going on with me, every little change I felt, so that they know what to do. So I was telling them as I was trying to help myself breathe. Every time I felt like I was getting calmer, I would tell them. I would tell them, okay, I'm starting to feel a little better, but it wouldn't last long because I was in shock. So they decided to try to give me fluids. Mind you, now I'm dehydrated as well, probably because I'm hyperventilating and because for the past few weeks, I haven't been drinking enough water. I kind of just been surviving off of vibes and bullshit, trying to get through these contract negotiations. Vibes and bullshit, iced coffees, you know, I ain't been drinking enough water and I know I haven't. Processed foods that I don't usually eat, but because it's sometimes I can work so much, I could be like, well, girl, you got to eat something, and you don't have time to sit down and eat a balanced meal. So just eat them ribs, eat them leftover ribs. That's literally what I've been doing because I just been busy, busy, busy. More busy than usual when I'm going under contract. So they decided we need to get you some fluids. So um, they stuck me 4 times. No blood. No blood. You know, when they put the IV, the needle in, it has to, you have to bleed a little bit in the IV. Otherwise, they don't think that they hit your vein. No blood. I wasn't bleeding out of my left arm. So he's starting to breathe heavy, like he's getting frustrated that this is his second or third poke and he can't get no blood. So I can't get no fluids because it don't look like he's in my vein. And the fourth time when he stuck it in and no blood let out into the needle, the man looked at me. And when I looked at his eyes, I saw concern. He didn't have to say it. So I said in a very calm voice, can you please tell me why I'm not bleeding? He didn't answer me. He kind of said, "It's okay. We're just gonna, try something else. We're gonna try your right arm one last time." And I'm thinking, one last time, bitch, what if that don't work? I need fluids. I can feel my body drying up. It was so hard for me to swallow. And I told him this. I said, my mouth is getting extremely dry. Can you please give me some fluids? My heart rate is pounding again. The water in my body is just drying up because I'm hyperventilating. So I'm looking around panicking. I said, "Can you please give me something to drink? If you can't get no fluids in my veins, please just give me something to drink. Please help me." And so they're like, "We can't because the hospital is going to have to run tests on you. So we can't give you anything to digest. We have to put it in a thing, but I ain't bleeding." So I said, "Is that dangerous that I'm not bleeding?" He didn't answer me. I said, "Am I already dying?" I didn't know. I didn't know what to expect, but bitch, I'm not bleeding out of my left arm. And I called y'all because of the pain in my left chest. Y'all keep saying I'm tapping out. Am I already dying? And then he didn't say anything. So I had to tell him in between trying to breathe. I said, "Now, mind you, this whole time, this hand over here is clenched." I didn't even realize that my hand was clenched until I got to the hospital and they gave me more fluid. Actually, when they finally did get the IV in this hand, and I could feel when he got the fluids in, I felt it going up my vein. And I instantly felt my mouth get a little bit more lubricated. And that's when I noticed that my fist was clenched that whole time, but he never did. When I was asking him, could he explain to me why I wasn't bleeding? Even when he took the IV out of my arm, the needle out of my arm, after he couldn't get any blood, I still didn't bleed. Wasn't no blood. It coagulated. It scarred instantly. He took the damn needle out and it wasn't no blood coming out my arm. So he started breathing heavy. He got up for a second, went, radioed something to the hospital, said something to the driver, came back, wiped his forehead, and then said, "We're going to try this hand one last time." And I'm thinking, what if if they can't get any fluids in me in this hand? I'm not going to make it to the hospital, bitch. I can tell I'm not going to based on how I feel. Ain't no ouch live. I didn't feel shit. Fun fact, I done been poked so many times from being in the hospital and dealing with chronic asthma that I am not I'm not squirmish with needles. They usually tell you to look the other way when they poking you. I need to look. I need to make sure you know what you're doing. So no, I'm not squirmish with needles. It didn't hurt and I didn't feel anything. Not nothing. Don't worry, Joy. Let your anxiety calm down. I gotta take y'all through there so we can get to the highs to where they started out thinking at the hospital that I was crazy. So he takes a deep breath and he sticks me here. Um, and when he got it in, I saw the blood fill up the IV. Oh, the relief! Both of us, both of us, kind of let out a sigh. I actually said yes. So mind you, now my heart rate is still 190 something this whole time. This whole time. So he was trying to move so quick to get the fluids that blood was squirting everywhere. Once he got that needle in and he was just trying to hold it there so that he can go and reach and get the syringe with the fluids. But I don't think he didn't have the fluids in close to him because bitch, he probably didn't think that he was going to be able to get into my vein in this hand either. So once he got in, he was like, "Okay, okay, okay." And he held it there so that he can, with one hand, so that with the other hand, he can reach and get the syringe with the fluids. Because, bitch, at this point, I think he was overwhelmed. He might have been new. And I think he probably thought that he was going to deal with somebody that was going to go into a heart attack too. So I think he was just as nervous. Blood squirting everywhere, bitch. Blood was squirting everywhere, and I didn't give no fuck. I just wanted him to get that fluid in my body. And he apologized. He was like, I'm so sorry for the mess. And at first I said, what mess? I looked down and I seen all the blood. I said, I don't care. I don't care. Put the fluid in. Do what you got to do. So he got the fluid in and I felt it instantly, but it wasn't enough. By the time we by the time we got to the hospital and it was only a 10-minute drive, the IV was empty. The IV was empty. So they get me to the hospital and my heart rate goes back up because now every small thing is triggering me. Every change is triggering me. I'm at the hospital. As soon as they get me in, I don't see no black face in there. All I see is white people. Now I'm panicking again. No shade to the whites in here, but I was nervous they was going to not act with enough urgency because I'm black, and that they was going to take their precious time doing the computer work before they start treating me. And so when they brought me in, um, they stopped at, I guess, the intake nurse, and she was asking questions, but okay, honey, what's this, and this? And I'm thinking, bitch, I am dying. So I'm laying there with the paramedics and right there, by the station. And she's just typing away, typing away, typing away. And I'm just looking around at no minority faces in there. And I am panicking, my heart going back up. The EMT that was working with me was a Hispanic male. And so I looked at him and I said, can you please stay with me until they bring my mama back here? And I think he understood why I asked that because he said yes. And then he started saying things to me in Spanish. Um, and then he would translate. He would say something in Spanish and then he would say, that means breathe. That means calm. So he understood why I asked him to stay because instantly he starts saying things trying to calm me down in Spanish. And so he knew why I wanted him to stay. And I appreciate him for acknowledging that and code switching right away to bring me some calm. Um, I appreciated that from him because that was the first time he started speaking in Spanish when I asked him to stay. Um, so he knew. God, it's hot. I'm having a hot flash. Hold on, y'all. I'm about to take y'all on a fantastic voyage with me to flip this switch. This is an old house. So sometimes the power switch will flip and it says the AC is still 72 degrees. So it just might be me having a hot flash because Auntie is approaching her 40s. So I've been having hot flashes and stuff. And I have PCOS. Yep, it's still running normal. I have PCOS. So I'm going to be perimenopausal a little bit earlier. So bitch, I'm hot. I'm motherfucking hot. Okay. All right. Well, anyways. Unfortunately, I ain't got nothing on under this robe. Otherwise, I start taking shit off. Whew. I want to take this shit off right now. Whew. But ain't nothing under this. Whew. Whew. Hold on, y'all. Bitch. Oh my God. Where's my fan? Hold on, y'all. I got all kind of issues over here. Oh. Saved by the fan. Oh, hold on. Bitch. I'm in Florida too. So all these ain't just hot flashes. It's been raining for the past few days and it's been hot, like 80, 90 something degrees. Mixed with the rain, the humidity makes it hotter. It's not even sunny outside, but the humidity, it's hot and sticky in Florida right now. So it ain't just me, bitch. It is hot and sticky in Florida. Ooh, ooh, it's ooh, ooh. Ooh, woo, 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 woo. This sunshine and rain is creating saunas in Florida. Anyways, so they wheel me to a room and I tell them to get my mama because it's a million of y'all. What does that mean? Anyways, she left um the Burger King where they picked me up from before the ambulance did. They told her where to meet us. So I know she was already there. Is you struggling in Texas, Erica, honey? The South is sweltering right now. I think you're a troll, and I'm not tolerating any trolls today. Anyways, so they get me into a room, and I immediately ask for my mama because they hooked me up to the heart monitor machine. And as soon as they hooked me up to it, and that's all I heard the whole time I was there. And as soon as they get me to that machine, now I got to hear. I don't have to look at that heart monitor machine. It's behind my bed, but I know that I'm still in an emergency because and so now I'm panicking again. I just so happen to look back 198. I said, please, please, somebody help me. Now I'm saying, please, somebody help me. And now I'm like, ain't nobody finna help me. Okay, Dina. All right, Dina. Let's go. Let's go. It's Jesus time. The first nurse who walked in was a short white lady with blonde hair and blue eyes. And she came in and she said, hey, honey, what's going on with you? I can barely breathe. And I heard the paramedic briefing her before she walks in my room, but I understand that this might be the procedure. They need me to talk, but I cannot breathe. So all I could manage to say, my heart, I can't breathe. Because now I'm still, mind you, this whole time I'm still trying to breathe and calm myself down because I'm in shock. And add on, now I can hear this monitor. And I know that it means that my heart rate is up there. So I'm sitting up, I'm shaking, I'm jittery because I'm about to pass out. My heart rate is pounding out of my chest. I'm moving around. I can't keep still. Not because I wanted to, but because that's what my body was doing. I can't control my body anymore. I can't control anything but my mind. That's what had me so freaked out. I can't do any breathing exercises to bring my heart rate down. I can feel myself constantly wanting to lay back and go to sleep, but I know that means I'm going to die or slip in a coma. So I can't do that. I can't stop anything. It's like now my body is at a point of no return. All I can control is my mind. So I sit up in that bed, in that hospital bed, and I start rocking and I start breathing. They brought mom. I actually heard them radio. Send her mom in. She's tapping out again. Send her mom in because I told them, and I actually told them, all of you guys are white and I don't feel safe. Now, mind you, that's not something that I would have said in my right mind. I would have found a more PC way to say that. But bitch, I'm about to die. So I don't have time for being politically correct. I need to see a familiar face in here that will advocate for me. They sent in a big booty Latina nurse. Before they brought my mama, that white lady walked out, and then in walked a big booty Latina, and she was very calm, patient, nice, made me feel a little better. So I said, they get the program around here. They get what I'm putting down because they sending in every minority they can find in this hospital. And that's what I motherfucking need because I know how y'all do. I know how y'all do us in these hospitals and in this medical system. And I don't typically go to hospitals. I don't typically have a need to. Since I was a child, I don't have these problems. So I don't trust y'all with me and my life. So yeah, I need to see a minority, somebody who can advocate for me when y'all won't. So they sent her in, and then my mom came in. And the Latina didn't ask too many questions. She asked whatever questions she need to, and then she went to go and get the doctor so that they can try to give me something. Now, the white lady nurse, she came back in. She was the nurse in charge. She was getting frustrated with me, and that's exactly what I was talking about. So she kept trying to calm me down, but while she was talking to me, she was looking at the heart rate machine. And I understand she had to monitor it, but it was making me anxious because I hear it and she's talking to me like, okay, da 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 da, but she's looking at it because I know it keeps going up. Everything was making me anxious and I couldn't calm down with her talking to me like, okay, honey, you tell me again about how you feel as she watches the machine. I know she's doing her job, but it was making me more anxious. So I asked them, I said, can you guys please mute that machine? I know you can't turn it off because you need to monitor my heart, but the more I hear it, the more anxious I'm going to get and I'm not going to be able to calm down. She seemed a little annoyed because at first she said no, but then she went out. I guess they asked the doctor, and bitch, they came and muted it. And then I start telling myself, I start breathing. My mama came in there and was like, "Let me pray for you." Hell no, no, no. Do not lay hands on me. Do not pray for me. Now I know she was thinking, "Oh, here go that, here go that witch shit. Here go that darkness. She don't want me to put the Lord." But no, because for one, don't pray for me in the name of Jesus. I'm surely going to die. You don't even know who you're praying to. I know who you praying to. I'm definitely gonna die. You mean the Jesus with the sword that comes with war and vengeance? The one I just said is probably Azazel last week. Mm-mm, not that one. Mm-mm. You don't know who you praying to. And I didn't want to make. I don't want nobody laying hands on me praying because that's gonna make me feel like I'm getting ready to go to glory. So no, I don't want to focus on praying. I want to focus on staying alive. Some about that made me feel like that's the last prayer. Mm-mm, mm-mm. No, you can't pray for me. Even in that moment, I don't lose what I know. So if y'all ever think that I just be up here, those of you guys who I drop gems to, and you think I don't stand on that, in life or death, even in their good intentions, do not do that because I'm going to die. If you plead the blood of Jesus over me and I am a priestess, bitch, the children of Jesus is Jewish and white. They don't want me to live, girl. You call the Loa, call the Orisha. Don't do that. That is Caesar Borgia. Don't do that. You talking about the crusade, Jesus? You talking about the one who all the black people was killed so that they could become Christians? That Jesus? That energy brings suffering. Absolutely. I had to stop her, even in life or death. I stopped my mama. Do not do that. That's when Jesus kicked in. Now, here's where the story becomes a testimony. While the nurses were out consulting with the doctor, and it was just me and my mama, after I told her to sit down, I got this. I sat up in that bed while my heart was steady going up. It go down a little bit from my breathing, then it go right back up. Every time a new person walked in the room, it spiked my heart rate. Once everybody left out, I sat on the edge of the bed and I start breathing. You're okay, Dina. You're okay, Dina. You're safe in your body, Adina. You're safe in your body. You're safe in this life. You are safe in this world. You are safe. You've been through a lot, Adina. You've been through a lot, and your body has had to endure a lot of trauma that nobody has apologized for. Nobody has owned up to, but you've had to endure it. blow by blow, you took in your body and you absorbed it, and you don't give yourself any rest, and you don't give yourself any grace. But right now, Adina, it is okay to be safe. It's okay to be okay. This is what I'm telling myself as I'm breathing. And my heart rate starts lowering and lowering and lowering and lowering. And then I start feeling like, okay, okay. And I was telling my mama, okay, I'm feeling a little bit better. But then that white lady came in there again. Now, it wasn't just her. Anytime anybody walked in, my heart rate would go up because they made me anxious. I couldn't control that though. It's just how my body was acting. So the nurse came in there and she's just like, okay, we need to get your heart rate down or else you are going to go into a cardiac arrest. So I need you to breathe. Count from 10. 1, 2. I tried it. She said, take a deep breath in. I could barely do that. She said, count to 10. I tried it. It didn't work. All that shit was doing, and then she was rubbing me on my arm, but it wasn't genuine. She's doing her job. She was making me more anxious. The more she tried to calm me down, the more my heart rate went up. You guys know what I did? I said, can you please leave? I need everybody to get out. Y'all, I'm finna go in a cardiac arrest, and I kicked every medical professional out of the room. And the lady was probably so annoyed with me at this point that she left. And she didn't leave like, okay, I understand. She left like she had an attitude. And I was literally saying, I'm not trying to be rude, but you guys are making me more anxious. I can calm myself down if you get out. Please leave. And she walked right on out as if she was upset. So after everybody got the fuck out, including the doctor, you're alive, Adina. You feel that? You feel that? That pain, that pressure in your chest, it's a sign of life. Remember who you are, Adina. Breathe. You are okay. You're okay. You're okay. That's why I keep telling my, and I'm talking out loud now. My mama just sitting quietly in a corner. She was probably praying privately to herself, but she's just sitting here. Every time I opened my eyes and looked up at her, she was just looking at me like, the fuck? She just kicked it. But it was working. It was working. And so my heart rate got to like 150. Then it got down to 148 after almost 200 by my motherfucking self. Okay. By the time it got to 150, then the doctor came in and then they said that they would give me something to make me calm down. But in between 150 and 190 and 195 and 198, that was all me. By the time I'm almost stable. Then they came in and shot something up in my IV, and man, you talk about high as a motherfucking kite. I don't know what that shit was, but whatever that shit was, I liked it too much, and that's why I don't like taking pharmaceuticals. Cause bitch, I was so high, and it it hit me instantly. So it wasn't morphine. They told me what it was. It's in the family of Xanax. It's for anxiety. So it's in the family of Xanax, but it wasn't that. It wasn't morphine either. I can't remember what, but they told me what it was. Man, as soon as it went up in my vein, I said, oh, my eyes got up. I said, oh, that feels good. Oh, yeah. Now that helped me calm down. But bitch, I had done the heavy lifting by then. So I laid back then. That was the first time I actually laid back. I said, okay, I'm gonna lean on back now because oh, I feel like my heart is starting to calm down. And I looked at now I can look at the monitor now, bitch, because it's going down. Now it's at 139. I'm like, oh, I don't know what this shit is, but sign me up for this crack cocaine, bitch. I said, is this what the crackhead's been doing? Shit. Yes. Yes. I said, this is what the crackhead's been doing. No wonder they can't get off that shit. This is good. I went to apologizing to everybody. Lord, once they got that stuff in my arm, I start telling everybody, oh, if I offended you, I'm so sorry. But listen, y'all was stressing me. I was like, I told the white lady, I appreciate you. I know you was just doing your job. She didn't want to hear that shit. She kept she kept nodding, but she wouldn't look at me in my eyes because she was mad. She was mad at me. And that's how I knew not to trust her in the first place. Because you can't have attitudes with patients. If they ask you to leave, then you can't get mad at me. But she had an attitude. I'm sitting here apologizing, like, listen, y'all was making me more anxious, and I needed to calm myself down. I needed to, yeah, I understand. But she wouldn't look at me. And this is why I knew not to trust them. I know energy. She was salty. She was salty. She used to be in charge, the head nurse in charge, but I kicked her ass out. And by the time she came in, I had done the heavy lifting. It's probably her first time being kicked out by a patient so that the patient can do her job. But it worked. So, anyways, they carted me off to all the tests and things. And I was good by the end, bitch. I was floating. I was still very anxious, but well, not anxious. It's like my body was still feeling like it was, but it wasn't anymore. And fun fact, all my tests came back clear. I didn't have any heart issues. They checked for all the heart issues, weak heart, blocked arteries, anything, blockages, anything like that. Everything was negative. Everything. As a matter of fact, they diagnosed me on my discharge papers with a panic attack and angina. Um, because by the time I got to the hospital, my blood pressure was normal. But I had been telling them I'm at this point because my blood pressure has been high for weeks. So the emergency room isn't going to. They didn't get no fuck. They was just like, we're gonna get your heart rate to 100, and then we're gonna let you go. And that's exactly what they did. Once it got low enough to where it was normal, they was like, all right, bye. And I was like, all right, bye. And they told me to follow up my PCP. And that's what I'm doing. But I've been having to monitor my blood pressure. And the highest it's been is 130. And that's after I eat something. So I definitely scheduled an appointment with my PCP so that I can find out how to manage. If they need to put me on a pressure medication, that's fine. And if they don't, and I just need to learn what foods I can and can't eat and what habits I need to incorporate, that's fine. But that's where I'm at now is managing high blood pressure because the last time I had an issue with it, it was stress related. And so they are now saying that your stress is the only issue. It's causing all of your other health concerns. But I do believe that I do have a blood pressure problem now that needs to be managed. And the weed doctor is going to increase my increase my monthly dosage, bitch. The one of the nurse instructors said they gonna give you military grade, a military grade prescription. I said, I'll take it. I'll take that. The only thing is, I probably will have to switch and incorporate indica into my weed routine because I'm a sativa girl and I never liked the indica because it's a downer and I don't have time to be sleepy. So I've always liked the sativa because, bitch, it don't make me sleepy. But now I'm going to have to incorporate the indica because it definitely calms you down, but I never liked it because I'm too busy to be that calm. I feel like I can't get nothing done if I'm calm. So I'm used to working under stress, but I have had a very, s- I've had a life that's been full of traumatic experiences. And because that has not affected my mind, like giving me severe depression, I've been taking it in my body. And the way the last doctor that I saw explained it, the last time I went to the ER for high blood pressure that was spiked due to anxiety or stress, she said that some people take the stress to their body, but it hits them with the same force as a car accident. So it does the same damage. I am that person because I have had a life with a lot of traumatic experiences, but my strong suit is my mind. I have been drinking ashwagandha and hibiscus tea all day, every day since I've been back. So yes, I'm an ashwagandha girl, Liv. But because my brain and my mind is so strong and I'm able to endure so much trauma without it affecting, making me depressed and stuff like that, it has to go somewhere. And I've been taking it in my body. Yes. That's where I got PCOS from, Liv. I was molested, as a child by more than one person. My father went to prison. The feds swept through my family and took several family members, including my dad. It was a big, big, big case, a big drug lord case. Most of my trauma was in my childhood, and that's where my asthma kicked in. I didn't get chronic asthma until after. My daddy got locked up by the feds. And then I developed chronic asthma. And then I was diagnosed with PTSD by my pediatrician when I was 12. Um, Never given any meds, but he definitely, after I had these fainting spells, um, I think I was in the fourth or fifth grade when I started having fainting spells. And I was going to all these specialists all over Florida. All the tests were coming back negative. They couldn't figure out what was wrong. And then it was my pediatrician, who was very close to my family. And he was the one who told my mother and my grandmother they can't diagnose her with those tests because it's PTSD. Um, so that's actually when all of my, real traumatic, all of my shit, my physical responses to trauma started sometime in my early childhood, and I grew out of asthma around 25. That was the last time I had an asthma attack, but that's also when I became initiated. When I left the church, when I stopped running from my calling, all those things. That was the last time I had an asthma attack, but then you I guess I just never, you do things, you do therapy and things like that to make sure you feel okay. But nobody really tells you that that trauma leaves lasting impact and damage to your body. They don't tell you that until you start going through health issues and they can't really pinpoint one exact thing. So I say all that to say stress. Mhm. I might have been able to avoid the high blood pressure curse because I live a very clean lifestyle outside of stress and being high strung, because I have allowed myself or preferred to operate like that. I run from naps. Um, don't take naps because I just be feeling like at some point my body just stopped needing to take naps throughout the day because I feel like in the middle of the day, you're supposed to be productive, not sleep, Dina. You've never had the luxury in your life. after your father went to prison, you've never really had the luxury. And he went to prison when I was 7. That's the last time I had a normal life. Two parents, safe, secure home situation. 7 years old is when that ended for me. And I was still in my development age. So survival mode kicked in as the firstborn, and being cognizant of all the things that was happening in my family, seeing my mother have nervous breakdowns and things like that because she got to testify in court. She's overnight a single mother. Everything's falling apart. And I observed and watched all that. I was present for all of that, and I felt all of it as a child. I wasn't ignorant of any of that. So I internalized a lot of that as well then. And then the molestation came in after that, and all kinds of things. But I say all that to say that this was a turning point for me because, for one, I found out that I can save my life with my mind. If I will myself to live, then I will live. And this is probably the third near death experience I've had in my life due to a sickness or something going wrong with my body, not any, including the car accident that almost took me out. And I'm not one of those people who feel like those happen for nothing, just to show me that there's some God that I should serve. Those were there to show me that I am worthy of living because I do not treat myself like I value my own life. And so I've had many experiences where I have come close and then been fully restored so that I can see that even if I don't treat myself like my life is valuable, somebody does. Somebody thinks I'm worthy. Somebody thinks enough to allow me to see just how powerful I am. So I don't play with myself anymore. I need to see how strong I really am, that I can go to the brink of death and then bring myself back with my mind, telling every medical professional, get the fuck out, so that I can bring myself back, and then doing just that. To date, I have thought that my biggest feat as a woo lady was getting that man's freed from ICE. That was my biggest feat to date. I did that in February. And that man was a Mexican man. And the first judge determined that he would be allowed to do his citizenship paperwork. And then another judge went over her, a male judge, and determined that, in fact, he would be deported in 90 days. And his decision was final. His decision was supposed to be final until they came to me. And then my decision was final. They said that man had 90 days before they was going to ship him off. And it wasn't even 90 days from the time I did the ceremony to when he walked out of there with his husband with permission to complete his citizenship paperwork. And I've been bragging at that being my biggest accomplishment to date, but not even that. Not even that. All right, let me go and take you guys on another fantastic voyage because I have to get my charger. Thank you, Liv. And I actually got your voice notes, but when you were sending them to me, I was resting. Sorry, you guys, I'm walking through the house. I got to get my charger. I've been in the living room all day on the couch watching TV because I don't have a TV in my bedroom. I'm not a TV girl. But since I've been doing this whole resting thing, I just been watching all kind of stuff on TV and enjoying it with my laptop. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't stopped working. When I was in the hospital, when I was in the hospital, the buyer for my aunt and uncle's house was texting me, and my mom gave me my phone when she got to the hospital. And yes, as soon as I got that good stuff in my veins and I started feeling a little bit normal, I absolutely responded to his. I didn't respond to everybody. I responded to his because I can't let I gotta close, I gotta seal that deal. It's for my aunt and uncle. If I die, I gotta make sure that they're not caught up in the middle of a contract. So, and they were down here today signing a contract and Live. I had a ceremony to do for Live at midnight last night. And I had that scheduled before I went to the hospital. I was supposed to do that ceremony for Live the exact night I went to the hospital. So, and I had a consultation with April yesterday, and that was booked before I went to the hospital. So, bitch, listen, I fuck with y'all. Fuck with y'all heard. I say I'm a hard worker, right? But I ain't really do too much of nothing else besides go to my nieces and nephews' graduation. Jackson, the one who slapped the taste out of me, he graduated from pre-K yesterday. I went to that, but then I came home and I relaxed. Um, I appreciate you guys, Live, but I say all that to say that the epiphany I had was I'm in the service business. I just talked about all the things that I did while I was laid up, half near dead for others. And I had an epiphany. I did. I did. And I thought, bitch, you just brought yourself back from the brink of death. You have no reason to live in survival mode. You're just that powerful. Why do you fear not having? Why do you fear not being okay? When no matter what has happened to you, even when you didn't know how you were going to be okay, you were always okay. Even if it literally seemed like magic happened, something would happen just in time for you to be all right. And not just all right, but thrive every single time. And I always share my most traumatic life experiences. The most recent one was my business partners. And to be honest, that was the final pin in how much trauma I can take. Andrew and Natasha, which is why I say that I will be their enemy for as long as, I'll just say this lifetime, because after this lifetime, I ain't gonna be nobody op, but I will never let off of their neck because, in a sense, they killed me. What they did to me, the betrayal they did to me, I broke then. I felt my body. That's the first time I felt my body break in half. And after that, I had that breast cancer scare. I got those lumps in my left breast, and I thought it was cancer. And this was in 2024. And I've shared that with you guys too. And I told you guys that the doctor, after I got the mammogram and all of that, and I had a biopsy that I didn't tell you guys about, it was my doctor, when everything came back negative, who said, I've seen people die from a broken heart. You need to handle yourself with care. This recent hospital stay is the third time in 3 years that a medical professional has had to tell me to manage how I handle stress and trauma and take care of myself. Third time's a charm. Shouldn't have been a charm because I thought I was getting better. But after Andrew and Natasha, my tolerance for trauma and stress was non existent. I thought I was doing good, but that just taught me how to not let anybody else bring me stress. That didn't teach me how to eliminate the pressure and the stress that I put myself under. This was an opportunity for me to see all the habits that I have that cause me to put more pressure on myself. This situation had nothing to do with someone else triggering me. This was a learning experience of how I'm working again, how I'm killing myself. So, not feeling guilt or shame for resting, taking a day off. typically would make me feel like a bum. So even on my days off, I will work. If I say I took a day off from YouTube, that has nothing to do with me servicing clients or doing real estate. And if I take a day off from one of them, I'm going to be doing something else. So a complete day of doing nothing, I ain't did that in so long. I can't even remember the last time I did that. Not even on a vacation, because I take my laptops on my little weekend getaways that I go on. I take my laptop and my phone does not stop. I don't, I would have, none of y'all have been able to contact me, and I've told y'all that I'm on a break. And fun fact, some of you guys have contacted me for work, and I've been on what I would call a break. And as soon as y'all call, break's over. I'm not a shopping girl. I will go on a vacation though. We are expediting this closing, and that's a blessing to me because all involved parties, my clients and the buyers, everybody wants an expedited closing. My aunt and uncle want to be in their new home by the 30th of this month because that's their anniversary. The original closing date is on or before August 18th, I mean August 19th, but that on or before is in the contract so that that can be the latest date, but we can always do it before that. All parties want to do it before that, and that's great so that I can wrap this up because once I finish their deal, I don't really have any more other pressing real estate clients. And this is a big stressor on me. It has been because it's my aunt and uncle. So I want to take good care of them. And I will be moving after this. Now, I actually decided to not move to Texas because of this, because I don't have any family in Texas. And since I now have this blood pressure situation and it's so new to me, I want to be a little bit more closer to a support system just in case I be tripping and I need some help. So I'm going to Jacksonville. Duval, here I come. I have already, I actually can't move into my new place until January when the person gets out, but I done already paid for it. I done already paid for it. I paid it up for a year, so I ain't got to worry about paying no rent. So this is all a part of me relaxing. I'm getting ready to move, and uh, I done already paid for it, and I paid rent up for a whole year, so I can relax, get settled into the Jacksonville real estate market and all of that stuff, and kind of just take it easy. I am going to Africa for about 10 days, and that is my vacation. So, and lifestyle changes. So, I just say all that to give my little testimony and an example of how to take care of yourself, especially if you're Black, if you're a woman, because we do tend to store trauma in our bodies. And if you're Black, we carry a lot more trauma. We carry trauma in our DNA. Um, and the world ain't always as kind to us. Nobody thinks to give me a soft life, which is why I am in survival mode. My husband didn't think of me enough to handle me a certain way. He kind of just was like, I don't want to be married anymore after 13 years of being together, and I think you should go visit your mom for some time. And even though my name was on the deed on our house, not the mortgage, but the deed. I have too much pride to stay anywhere and beg anybody for anything. So I walked away from everything in that divorce because you will never tell me you don't want me and then I try to fight you for stuff. In my mind, fuck it. I'll just go and get it. I'll go and get my own. I'll go and rebuild. That is why I've been in survival mode. The house, the boat. I ain't asked for no alimony or nothing. 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 We were married for 10 years. If he dies tomorrow, I can get his social security and I won't even apply for it. I won't even apply for it. Once we're done, I'm not bitter. And I have too much pride to beg. I would rather show you who the fuck I am. And I have, because my ex husband just reached out to me the other week because he sent me a client. And he's already told me last year the best thing that ever happened to you was leaving me. Why did he say that? Because I done glowed up. They had to watch me glow up. Immediately after that, once I grieved a little bit, I got right to it. I have a point to prove to myself because I watched my mother have a husband one day and then not have a husband because he went to prison. And then the same thing happened to me, although it was my husband's choice. He decided that he wanted to explore. He spent his whole 20s with me. We got together at 18 and 19, separated in our 30s. So he wanted to explore, and I said fine, and I do not want to take anything with me. I'm not going to fight you for any of that cuz that's more stress. That's more stress on me. And I'd rather just go and rebuild on my own like a big dog. The fuck? It's Dina. It's the big Dina. It's always big Dina. So that's how I got stuck in survival mode and becoming a workaholic. And it seems that now the divine is saying that was so long ago that you had to be in that mode that you didn't even realize that it's okay to not be anymore. It's just become my normal. And that can't be your normal. It can't be your normal. So, changes I'm making um, is rest. Past couple of days, I ain't been feeling bad. I could have came on live. The thing is, though, I don't feel bad, but I do feel like I needed to rest. After all of that my body was going through, trying to survive, and then after acknowledging that I've been in survival mode practically all my life, after the acknowledgement, it's like now I can actually feel it. I didn't notice it before. Now I do. So I have been enjoying. I can't even say I've been heavily fatigued. It's just like I've just been melting into the bed, into the couch, and it's just felt so good. It's just been feeling so good. It's like I've been missing out on this all my life, and all my elders have been telling me for some reason when I was in the hospital, I asked my mother if it was okay for me to relax because nobody has ever made me feel safe in my life. I can't say that they haven't tried to. I haven't felt safe in life since I was a child. And I guess that's a childhood trauma that I've carried because for some reason I needed somebody to tell me that it was okay for me to rest. So in the hospital, I was venting to my mom after they put them drugs in me, child. I was just letting all kinds of shit off my chest. I was telling her about how she stressed me out, how the relationship history that we've had has caused me to also be walk on eggshells around her. And she was sitting there like, I had no idea that you were having to brace yourself with me because you don't know if I'm going to, say something to you that's hurtful or that you are perceiving the way I treat you as rejection. She said, I had no idea that you've been bracing yourself just to be around me. And she said, Dina, relax. It's okay. It's okay. I want you to relax. I want you to be okay. And something about hearing that, something about her saying that did something for me. It really did. It made me feel like, okay, now I can. Because as growing up, when When the feds took my dad and my mother had to brace herself for that change, I braced myself too so that I could support her. When I was 16, my 16th birthday, I spent that day applying for jobs. And as soon as I got my first job, I told my mama, now you can just focus on Leisha and Lynette. I can help take care of myself. So it's always been about survival, but what I didn't acknowledge is that I have been carrying my mother's burden too, because when life changed, my sisters were too young to remember that day. They were too young to feel the trauma that came that day, but I wasn't. I was 7 and I'm the oldest. So I watched her um, have panic attacks and nervous breakdowns. I watched her struggle and I took that in. And I remember as a child feeling so guilty that I was a child because I was just another burden for my mother that she just didn't deserve. Imagine being a child feeling like I can't wait until I'm no longer a child so I can remove myself as a burden from my mother because she has it so hard. The least I can do is not be another burden for her. I thought she can take care of Alicia and Lynette, but for some reason, I have to take care of myself for her. It's almost like those are her kids and they need to be taken care of. I have to now be the man of the house for some reason. That's how I internalize things as a child. And so I think that's why I felt such a release with her saying that. And I don't know why I needed her to. And maybe I didn't, but it helped me when she said that. Um, so I have been chilling and I have been acknowledging ways that I have been putting unnecessary stress and trauma on myself, things that I've been carrying that I didn't realize that I had been carrying until the weight got too heavy in these past few days. And when the weight gets too heavy, you start looking at yourself and trying to figure out what's weighing you down so that you can get rid of it. It does, Tiara. It's the oldest child syndrome. It really is. The burden, the responsibility, and also feeling like my younger siblings are my mother's children. I am something different. I always call my sisters her daughters, but me, I acknowledge I'm her oldest daughter, but I feel like I am actually her teacher. I'm her teacher. Yes, they all my mama and my my mama and my sisters feel like my kids, but my sisters were my kids. I adored them. I still do. I was their protector. When I was little, I used to hope that nothing that happened to me happened to them. And I used to say, if anybody does touches my sisters the way they touched me, I will kill them as a child. Period. If anybody touches my sisters the way, and I was the last in my family to be molested, it ended with me. Started somewhere with my grandmother and her siblings, ended with me. My two sisters are the youngest grandchildren on my maternal side, and I was the last one to be molested. It ended with me. So, and I used to say, like, if I find out anybody did that to my sisters, I will kill them. Period. I knew that as a child. I knew how I would do it. I knew that I was going to put something in their food. That was my go-to as a child. If anybody does X, Y, and Z, I'm gonna put something in their food and I'm gonna poison them. I was dead serious. I held on to that as a child, and then as an adult, now I'm licensed to carry. So, and everybody can take care of themselves, but for me, it was always if I find out, I'm going to poison your food at Sunday dinner, so I can see, so I can make sure you don't come back. My daddy is Scorpio child, so That's that with that. My mother's an Aquarius, so she don't give a fuck. My daddy is Scorpio. He don't give a fuck either. And I ain't never gave. So, you guys, I thought it was important for me to come back and share that testimony as I do share you guys my most vulnerable moments because there's so much power in life experiences if you allow that to be. And that's for all the people who think I got hexed too. Again, nobody would think that anybody would hex me if I don't tell you guys that something's going on. But I still tell you guys, even though I know that there are plenty people in the world who may not like me. And sure, there may be covens out there for the elites that I speak against and read down and sometimes woo. Of course, they work in covens too. And actually, I literally just the other day wooed somebody that I think we all want wooed. We just did the Destiny Fulfilled ceremony, and that was taking our power back from the Ish people. So, me sharing that I actually go through things or that weapons are formed doesn't mean that it's safe to play with me. Because I'm telling you, if someone did woo me or try to attack me spiritually, yeah, you attacked me, but you fucked up. You fucked the fuck up because you underestimated your opponent and overestimated your abilities. And anytime I have a life lesson, I allow myself to learn from it. There is power and growth in that. That's what we go through these things for. And if you allow life to teach you, then you become more powerful. And I had a bright idea to conjure up a spirit who tells you there's a spirit that you can conjure up, one of the Goetia. Their job is to reveal any secret plots or witchcraft or anything like that against you. Reveal the plot, reveal the person. So, for safe measure, I might do something like that just to be sure that this was all my fault. And if there is anybody else whose hand was in it, then the head gets cut off. Not the hand, the head. That's where we're different. They take shots and they miss. I do not. I do not. And I aim for the neck up because you got to cut the head off the snake and don't play with it. Y'all play with me. Y'all let me live, and I just be. So, if there was someone for some of my supporters who were like, you are a powerful person and you attract powerful enemies, that's true. I always have. I told y'all, I sued Lockheed Martin because they played with me. I attract powerful enemies, but you got to be powerful to attract a powerful enemy, right? And do I die? Am I dead? Or do I bounce back like Lazarus with a testimony? So the testimony in that is the weapons can form all day. That ain't got nothing to do with whether they prosper or not. And I've been being attacked all my life since I was a child. And here I am, still I rise. So, with that being said, that was my testimony. I came back to let everyone know I am okay. My blood pressure has been stable every day since then. My heart rate has been normal. And I'm going to go and see my PCP so that they can help me figure out how to manage whatever is going on with me so I don't do things that trigger it. That's a part of life, though. I'm still human, so I still have to, deal with human things, but we deal with them to the best of our abilities. And I am grateful to go through life changes like aging and then dealing with aging issues like the pressure and stuff like that. I mean, the alternative is to be dead. And aging is a blessing to continue to be able to go through life despite the harshness of it. And millennials, we had it a little tougher. We were in a very transitional generation. So our trauma is a little bit different. It's an honor. It's an honor to be able to pull myself out of death because you know what that taught me? That taught me that breaking somebody out of freeing someone from ice is not the strongest thing I can do. Not even slightly the strongest thing I can do. I can actually reach into the in between of life and death where lives get caught up in the balance and they no longer have power to determine their outcome. Some people get to that point and they're left up to fate. Some people can't will themselves to live in their mind. This taught me that I am more stronger and more powerful than I have been acknowledging. Walking around all timid, sometimes nervous about whether I'm going to be able to come through for a client who needs me in a bind, whether I'm going to be able to, whether I'm going to disappoint a person, whether I'm going to be the reason that they lose faith because they're used to seeing results. We don't just have blind faith, our faith comes with results. So the moment there isn't a result, and I go into every working with my clients, not with the lack of faith, but looking at the spirits like, don't make no fool out of me because I'm only here because of what you shown me. And I believe it to be true. And these people have put their faith in you too, and they've been seeing the results too. So do not fail us. Do not fail us because you will lose me forever. And I'm loyal to the bone. So I tell my spirits all the time, this ain't just me working for them. They expect you to come through. You're the power and the intelligence beyond my own. So this has taught me that, Adina, you rested on, and I've been asking my spirits. I just asked my spirits, this ice situation, is that my peak? Is that the best I can do? I'm grateful, but I'm still young and I still have life to live. So I don't want that to be my peak. I want to continue challenging myself and growing myself and seeing what more being a human is made of in a day where they want us to trade out our human selves for AI. I want to continue to see what the intelligence, what the superpower of the human really looks like, because it really hasn't been explored. And I want to do it publicly in the days where they are saying that humans are becoming obsolete for artificial intelligence. I want to remain on this platform and I want to continue stretching myself and seeing just what I can do and doing it publicly so that they can see too. And so that everybody who becomes convinced that humans are second rate to artificial intelligence can think motherfucking twice and then apply the same process to yourself. And then we become the Avengers. We all can become Avengers. We don't have to let them make us obsolete. We don't have to let them make us only good for entertainment, like Bill Gates said that humans would be within the next 10 years. And now they're playing, and now BlackRock is planning. Larry Fink said that we will be taking Americans' pensions and savings to invest into the infrastructure in AI. They said will, not might, but will. We will be taking your pensions and your savings to invest into AI. This is a spiritual battle. And me being here, my testimony of still being alive is more than just learning about high blood pressure and heart rates and survival. It's about human intelligence. It's about us never really knowing what being a human means because they've never wanted us to know. And they've given us all these movies with superhumans and all these things so that we look at ourselves not as the superpower or the superhuman. We believe that that's going to be something else, something made in a lab or an alien that's going to come and be a superhuman. But the whole time, we are the superheroes. We're the Spider-Mans. We're the Catwomans. We're the T'Challas. We're the Black Panther. We're the Avengers. We're the Power Rangers. All of those shows and characters are built off of the human and what the human can really do. But have we been dumbed down, poisoned, indoctrinated, poisoned, food, medical complex, and indoctrinated to think YOLO, all you are is your flesh. All you are is your flesh. And only when you die do you become a superhuman outside of your body. And that is not true. I have done miraculous things. I have seen miraculous things. And just recently, I've become the miraculous thing. That big booty Latina nurse, she came in, she said, I'm actually impressed. It wasn't the white doctor lady, it wasn't the white nurse lady. It was a Latina girl. It was a Latina girl. And she said, you are so strong. I'm so impressed. You're so strong. Now, what she didn't say is that you should have had a heart attack. You should have been in cardiac arrest. And I know I should have. I felt myself going there, which is why I kicked everybody out of the room so that I can focus, so I can close my eyes and focus this eye. This is why I needed everybody out. And I needed my mother not to pray because I didn't need the spirits that she would have called forth interfering with what I knew I needed to do to save my own life. So I had to shut everybody out, including the world. And I had to focus this eye on keeping my spirit and my body every time I felt it lifting out, because I did. Every time I wanted to lay down and go to sleep, I could feel myself just floating, but I needed to stay in my body, which is why I was telling myself, you are safe in your body. Because a trauma response, my whole body was reacting to trauma. And when your nervous system goes into trauma response mode, all it knows to do is to protect itself and shut down. That could mean death. It could be telling your body the only way we're safe is if we're not here. That's how some people die from shock, because their nervous system is sending signals that they are no longer safe anywhere and it needs to protect itself, and it will shut down. So I had to focus on telling myself something other than what the machine of my body was telling me before my body start to listen to my nervous system rather than what I was programming it to do. So I was programming my supercomputer in that hospital room to not listen to the system override, but to listen to the programming. And I program my supercomputer. I do that, not trauma. Trauma does not get to tell my body that I'm not safe in my body and that I have to go, because that trauma involves other people and the things that they did to contribute to my trauma. And they don't get to determine whether I live or die. I do. So there's my testimony. This wasn't just me coming back to show face. And no, I'm not doing a reading tonight because I am going to relax for the rest of the night. I will be back um, tomorrow. It's a lot going on, a lot that I don't even care to talk about. Yes, Jay-Z was out with his sympathy fro, as some people say. I said he looked just like Blue Ivy with his hair out like that. Lord, he looked just like his child with his hair like that. I don't give a fuck to talk about none of these people. After what I just did with myself, I want to use my spidey senses for the greater good, not on the entertainment. I told y'all I was getting tired of talking about the entertainment. They are the help. Their job is to help make me giggle and rock to a beat every now and then, make me dance, but not to use my spotty senses on them, because if I do that, then people will continue to play on me like I am regular, like I'm just somebody else on YouTube reading cards. And I don't like that. I don't like that. I actually might have lost a new client. Somebody came to me who never got woo before. I'm sure they found me on here and they might be listening now. And please forgive me if I came off a little short with you, but you was contacting me while I was on the brink of death. And this person has been thinking about getting a fuck around and find out, but they um if I had the capability to gift memberships, I would. But I think only subscribers can give memberships one of one. I didn't even know you weren't in the membership anymore. And if I knew that you had to drop out, if there was something I could do about it, I would have never let that happen. But don't worry, it's there whenever you come back. But he was inquiring about a fuck around and find out. He seems like he's never done any woo or anything like that before, ever. So he was like asking me a lot of questions. And then recently he reached out and was like, and hopefully he is in here so that he can get this testimony and get a better understanding of me. Because I feel like I might have chased him off. He might have been offended. But Sunday he reached out and was like, I think I'm ready to move forward with the fuck around and find out. Can you send any reviews for that ceremony? And bitch, I got offended. I did a little bit. But I had to stop and say, Dina, it's not everybody is used to you or knows you like that. So some people who are new and apprehensive, they might do something like that. So I had to try to check myself instead of being offended because he asked me for a review. And my first thought was, you must be new around here. Fun fact, I've never, ever had anybody approach me for a ceremony and ask me to prove myself to them. Typically, people do their research on me first, and then they come and be like, all right, bet, let's go. I'm ready. And also, this person, I had to remember that we live in a world where spirituality is a trend. It's its own little subsection of a niche market now. And so there are a lot of people who have set themselves up as merchants in the spiritual community. Not saying they're not good or not effective, but they very much operate like a spiritual shop. So you can go to their page and you it's like going to a store. I don't operate like that. Before I took on YouTube, I only operated word of mouth. So you had to get a referral. Somebody had to refer you to me for you to even know that I did this. I preferred to work in the shadows. I didn't want anybody to know what I like to walk the back roads. I don't like to take the highways. I like the back roads. And so I was thinking a review, which I barely get testimonials from my clients anymore because they're so used to getting results. It's like there's no use in saying, oh my God, it worked, because nobody comes to me expecting or not expecting it to work. They just, and I don't know. I think the last new client I had, I don't think I've seen him on there, but I shared his testimony. It's a guy, and he just got approved to do that Black Derby event. I shared his testimony. He was the last newbie I got, and I ain't gonna lie, he was apprehensive too. He didn't ask for a review, but he did ask me to explain the crown of success. And he had a lot of questions. And I don't mind answering your questions, but and I was thinking a review, a testimonial, when I do get them, I barely post them. Fun fact, I get it's like I at some point I get reviews so much, and it's not even any as much of a review. It's just like my clients are always sending love. Thank you so much for all the things that you've done. Everybody's appreciative, whether I did something recently for them or whether I did something last year. Everybody just reaches out and is just appreciative all the time. And I don't really get a lot of reviews anymore because everybody's just so used to how we work around here. So it's not anything to really, they're not surprised. And all my clients are OGs now. So, you know, I don't feel like I get a whole lot of new clients since I've been shadow banned on YouTube. And I don't um a lot of my local clients are older. They OGs. You know, they come from the days where root work was still a thing. And they not on social media and they not really talking like that to each other unless you're in the community already. So I was thinking, well, you'll have to go on my Instagram. I sent him the link to my Instagram, which is private, but it's for my clients. And go on my YouTube. I post some reviews on my YouTube. Um, so I was just telling them you're gonna have to go on YouTube and Instagram. But then I thought, well, let me just pull some off of there and send them to him. And he apologized if he offended me, but I haven't heard from him since then. And I think I kind of scared him off because he seems apprehensive as a first timer and he wants me to convince him and show him proven results of my work. And if you're watching this, the only reason I came across like that is because I'm not that. I don't care. Yeah, when I set up the website, and I'm going to be doing that in between, sometime after I close on this, while I'm kind of chilling a little bit, because I'll have some downtime in between this closing and when I can move to kind of prepare things. So I'll set up my website then and I'll invest in new equipment for here so that, because I do have plans for this channel. I kind of want to, like, I experimented with rolling certain things out, the schedule Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. I said I was going to be here Monday for Necromancy Monday, Wednesday, Current Event Wednesday, and Let's Chat Friday. But I am going to kind of formalize things here. I want this to kind of be like a, well, I won't tell everything, but think of a necromancy Nancy Grace, a medium Nancy Grace. That's the image I've been having in my mind when I talk to my spirits and say I'm bored on YouTube with the shit that they like for me to talk about. And I was asking my spirits, do I have to cater to the celebrity bullshit? And my spirit said, no, there's something else, Ace of Wands. So I had to sit in my creative juices. And I thought, I kind of want to go back to my roots of this channel. So there'll be a little bit more investigation in some of the things I do. So I'll be able to pull, I want to do it like, I don't know who to reference, but like some YouTubers and content creators, I don't know what kind of computers they use and setups. I'm thinking about malogrograms and um, more like Armand Wiggins, because I don't know how they have their computers set up, but like as they're talking about things, they can pull references up on their screen and you can still see him, but it's like a split screen. You can see the topic and the reference that they're talking about. I would like to incorporate that because a lot of times I do readings. Sometimes I have to start out researching facts. And as I get back to my roots of incorporating more investigative works, trying to solve more things, because I want to make a difference. So I'm going to incorporate more of my cold case and stuff like missing person stuff again, because that's why I start doing this on YouTube so that I could try to lend a voice to the dead that never got justice. Um, but I want to be able to like break down their case and bring up their photos and bring up facts and details about that case and then interject my medium skills with that. But I want to be able to let you guys see some of the things instead of me pulling it up on my computer and then taking my phone and then showing you the screen. I just want to be able, but yes, think of a medium Nancy Grace. That is kind of like what I will be. No, goodbye. That's kind of where I'm going. So I don't know if anybody who knows content creator equipment, I would love to know what kind of computer I need, what kind of cameras I need, what kind of software I need. That's the part I need help with is help getting myself set up as a production. When I move, I will have because this is everybody's house. This house I live in, this is everybody's house. I say that because this is the family house. So everybody has a key here and people pop up here all the time. And that's fine. Um, but when I move, I will have a dedicated space for going on live and stuff like that. So I'll be a little bit more professional, but in between this closing and I'll say December, that person's lease is up in December. They have to be out by January. I can move in mid-January, I think, but I'll be doing the prep work. Um, I'll need a very strong CPU computer, kind of like the 16 core up. Message me, Liv, because I'm gonna forget in this live, but message me. Anybody who knows. If you don't have my contact, beyond the veil at adina@gmail.com, please just help a sister out and tell me what to do. So yes, changes are coming, but um, I forgot how I got there. Um, so yeah, tomorrow I'll be back. I know you guys, I don't know what you guys want to talk about. I hope y'all don't want to talk about that Jay-Z performance and stuff because I really don't care. I do not care. I do not care. And I don't need to read any of that stuff. I mean, these people survive and thrive by keeping you guys caught up in the circus act of it all. Jay-Z is on his way out to pasture and he is attempting to maintain his grip of power on the industry. And in my opinion, it's because he's aging out. And for a person who thrives off of ego, that makes them want to maintain or assert their dominance and control even more. It's kind of like him saying that battle rap should be out. Jay-Z is always determining what should be in or out in hip hop. He said auto tune should be out, and then T Pain couldn't even thrive. He said Kaepernick, we done kneeling, and Kaepernick was out. He said battle rap was out when it didn't serve him, and here he is battle rapping. Thank you, Tira. In my opinion, Jay-Z moves through ego, and this isn't a debate about whether his rap or his performance was good or not. I believe that he's popping out because he sees the industry changing and transforming. They have been trying to pull him down and testing his power. So I think he's trying to reassert his power and his dominance and show you guys that he's still the man and he still owns and runs hip hop. But I think it's because he's aging out of it and he's starting to see it getting evolving out of his control with the new generation and how they like to receive music and entertainment, the type of music they like to listen to. It's not the kind of music that he makes. And so I think he's trying to control or hang on to the industry so that he can control it, maintain it, because it's starting to evolve into the new generation's version of music. And he would become obsolete in that regard. That's what I take from him, and that's the only thing that I care about seeing. I don't care about anything else. I got to the root of it, an assertion of dominance or ego. So if anybody cares for me to read on that, there you go. That's what it was to me. And I don't care about anything else besides that. I don't care about what Nicki Minaj or Drake is going to say or do. I don't care about any of them. They're all puppets at this point, all political puppets, all circus acts. They're all casted in this show. And I don't hang out at that arena anymore. That's a part of my new upgrade because I kept saying that reading celebrities was starting to stress me out, but I was kind of trying to do it for y'all. But y'all, I can't be stressed out because my health. So I don't give a fuck about reading. I'm just not there anymore. Where my gifts are where I think we should be paying attention because if you guys are caught up in this entertainment stuff, by the time the next wave of something big hits, all you guys will be able to do is report on it. You guys will be able to listen to it on other commentators. They'll be able to discuss it and dissect it. But my job is to see it in advance and alert everybody in advance because usually they keep you guys distracted and on a hamster wheel so that they can handle things on the back end. And by the time you guys find out, it's like the Epstein files. And that's 10, 20 years. Y'all were 10, 20 years late to that party. They allowed you guys to know it because by the time that they are on their next big conspiracy, they have to, they have to release the last one. It's like energetically creating space. And you guys have to be a certain level of woke. That new level of woke with the Epstein files, and everybody feels like now we're woke and we know all the ills of the world. No, those were the ills of the old world. They have already shifted to a new type of filth and debauchery. And it'll be another 10, 20, 30 years before you guys get put onto that, which is like people like me are supposed to exist. We're not supposed to talk about the things that they give you guys to be distracted about. And we're not just commentators. We don't, we aren't supposed to do that. Our gifts are supposed to be as messengers. I thrive as a messenger. I don't thrive as a commentator or a YouTuber or as a spiritual marketplace person. So, oh yeah. If anybody else would like to get a review of my work, you're going to have to, I don't know, find it on my YouTube because that's where I post the things that people send me. But you're not always going to get a review from somebody like me because I don't advertise and market myself the way everybody else does. I will have a website because it will help me streamline my process. Right now, everybody hits me up on my phone or on my email, and it's becoming overwhelming. So the website for me is so that you guys can go and book stuff without having to text me because if I'm overwhelmed, then I can't I just can't have my phone going off with real estate clients and woo clients all the time. And you guys, I'm more busy with y'all than real estate clients. So that is just going to help if everybody can just go to a website and all I got to do is log in when I wake up because some of y'all in different time zones and y'all be texting me when I do go to sleep. Fortunately, I was never a heavy sleeper, but moving forward, now that I'm going to be prioritizing rest, it's going to have to be after I wake up. I can't disturb my sleep patterns anymore. But it's a streamline for process. But for anybody else looking for reviews, I'm not sure if I can give you that. So you're gonna have to check in with your spirits to see if ask your spirits if you should work with me. And you're gonna have to take their word for it, trust your intuition. And if not, there are thousands of ladies and gentlemen who are spiritual practitioners whose whole brand and social presence revolves around marketing their services. I've never really advertised myself outside of word of mouth, or when people do send me testimonials, I share them as testimonies, not reviews. It's not a review of my work. It's I want people to see that miracles are still being done and you don't have to wait for Jesus to part the sky for a miracle to happen. And it's okay if some people feel like, well, I don't trust you, so I just won't work with you. That's perfectly fine. All money ain't good money, and y'all be the ones to stress me out. Because typically on the day of ceremony, I do not talk to you. And newbies like to text the day of the ceremony because they're anxious. And the day of the ceremony, I am focused on your ceremony. So I will not talk to you because you're going to distract me with your nerves. And I just need you to relax so that I can do my woo. So if anybody's ever texted me on the day of their ceremony and I ignore you, that's on purpose because I know that you're anxious and that's your job to be nervous and anxious, not my job. I have to be focused. And then sometimes y'all anxieties will cause me to, be off center. So that's the way I work. I am for everybody and I don't want to be. Because I like to be effective more than I want to be popular. So, young man, if you are here listening in, and I want to say again, I'm sorry for coming off a little dismissive or like I was offended. I was taken aback. I wasn't offended, I was taken aback because people don't ask me for reviews. They know. By the time they show up, they know. Um, and I will still love to work with you if you would have me. But the fuck around and find out, that's that's like that's going to the doctor for a checkup. That's preventative care. That's routine work. That's that ain't nothing. I won't say it's not nothing because then you guys will think, well, my situation is important. I'm saying a fuck around and find out isn't something that I'm going to waste my time with reviews on. The new stuff that I can do, that's the shit that I'm going to tell y'all about. But protection and stuff like that, don't nobody even give me reviews for that because they just be safe. How do you say after a fuck around and find out I'm safe now? Well, no, I get it. So yeah, to that gentleman, it's not you, it's me. I don't work like a marketplace woo lady, so I don't care to have reviews all over the place so that people feel inclined to choose me. I like to work with the people who are appointed to me. All right, this is fun. I hung out a little longer than I thought so, but this is fun. And I'm back, you guys. I'm okay. You're okay. I'm okay. We're safe. We're safe in our bodies. Okay. All of you guys are safe. The world looks like chaos. Don't let them tell you to fear. Don't let them tell you guys to have anxiety. Don't let them make you fear wars and rumors of wars and finances because that weakens your immune system and they will do woo on you. It's called media. It's called propaganda. When you're fear, perfect time for them to implement ideas and agendas because you're too afraid to be rebellious against it or to see another reality. Focus. The word for the week, focus. Center your mind. No matter what's going on around you, center your mind and then determine your outcome and watch it manifest. I am a living testimony of that. Thank you, Tiara. I love you. I love all of you all, except for the trolls. I hate you with a boil in the booty passion. I hate you with a hemorrhoid passion. A hemorrhoid with hot diarrhea. That's how I hate you trolls. I hate you and your existence. And that makes me feel better because I'm usually love and light. But I have to admit, I hate you trolls. I hate your existence. I hate that you have air in your lungs or uh, a chip in your computer if you're a bot. Death to AI or death to the replacement of human by AI. We shall prove that we are the Avengers. Amen. Amen. You're much welcome, Liv. Don't thank me for anything. I'm just existing and trying to make my life have a purpose so that it's not in vain. Stop saying sorry, Liv. Girl, you're going to stress me out. May my suffering not be in vain. That's all I'm here for, is so that my suffering isn't in vain. Maybe you guys can benefit from it. All right, love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow, Scout's Honor, and we'll chat. Don't ask me about Jay-Z, okay? Don't ask me about Nicki Minaj, uh, Drake, them three. Y'all can ask me about anything else except Nicki Minaj, Jay-Z, or Drake. Y'all know who y'all should ask me about? Akbar, the Queen of Atlanta. I don't know why she's entertaining me so much with making all these diss songs against people who probably aren't going to respond to her, and not because they think she's beneath them, but because they want y'all to believe that she's beneath them. But I think they all hear her and probably would acknowledge her if y'all wouldn't pick on them for acknowledging her, especially Lotto, because y'all know Lotto is new. Nobody can pretend to be something that they're not without actually being insecure. Lotto is very insecure. She's very the three black women who died in water. Tomorrow is Monday. So that's a good thing to do on Necromancy Monday. Sure. We can do that tomorrow. All right. I did hear about that and I thought it was interesting. I thought it was strange. I also heard that a Diddy sex tape came out and they said that he had a microfiber in his pants. I don't know. I was too busy resting and watching American Gods today. But I went on a blog and everybody was talking about a Diddy X tape being released and they said he had microfibers in his pants. And I thought, well, I could have told you guys that. He never gave BDE. Never ever gave. Abusers don't have BDE. And usually those really freaky sexual deviants, they don't have BDE either. So I could have told you guys that. But whoever watched it, shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you all for trying to be a voyeur at the freak off because you didn't get in. I've never wanted to watch a Diddy sex tape. Never thought it'd be interesting. Something about it makes me think it was stank. You know, all that casual random sex. Anytime I think about people who do like these celebrities that are escorts and prostitutes and toots, stank. Y'all acting like all that sex don't stink. And then the people that y'all know just be having a bunch of sex. How can y'all not look at them and see stank? Y'all acting like sex with multiple partners don't stink. Didn't Cardi B say her and her man be fucking until it stank? I ain't never fucked nobody till it stank. I promise. That mean your guts ain't clean. If every time they get jabbed, you start secreting stank, that mean your guts ain't healthy. It shouldn't matter how long you screw. If your guts is clean and his guts is clean, it shouldn't be stank. It might smell sweaty and hot, but stank? I ain't never experienced that. I haven't. I have never. Mm-mm, mm. I've had people walk in after I just finished the escapade into the room and not know anything took place. I'm fucked in public, and y'all would have never. So it's certain people. Yeah, she said that. She said, and he be fucking, we be fucking down to that stank. I said, oh my no. Just how do y'all not look at these celebrities and think somebody else that's really popular that said that they don't wear drawers at all, but they're a gym girly? And I have it in my good mind that they're a prostitute. I have to say I have it in my good mind, but trust me, allegedly, trust me. Ari, now why I think she's a clean hoe. Remember Jada Waiter gave her soiled panties to like how do y'all not and these young girls, so they don't fuck or clean the way us old school aunties do. They ain't fucking and cleaning like we used to. Talking about not wearing panties at all, not even to the gym. Like all those fibers from the material of those stretch spandex cheaply made clothes from China is just causing friction in your lips and not even a good pair of cotton panties. I love me some good cotton panties. I love a Hanes, a fruit of the loom. Love them. Yeast infections and bacterial infections and women, listen, we can't, it's so easy for us to get infected. So we have to stay on top of our hygiene and they just be acting like I can skip all of that stuff because I naturally smell like and then they be fucking all these same people and behind each other and I just be like y'all I have a hard time reading certain people without smelling stank in my spiritual nose. They be sticking in the gym so they really don't be wearing drawers to the gym where they sweat. I'm a girl who can free ball with certain clothes, but the gym is where I draw the line. Bitch, I'm in there working up a sweat. And I don't want my lips protruding through my spit. And then they spitting, just your lips sitting there and drooling so everybody can see lips and lip drool. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Mm-mm. Y'all ain't safe. Y'all be safe out there. Young men be safe because these girls, they look good, but let auntie tell you, they ain't practicing good hygiene. They look good, but they ain't practicing good hygiene. And no, her fantasy box and wherever else they got to mask the smell, y'all niggas gonna get down there face first. After a few strokes, that smell, that perfume gonna wear off. And y'all gonna be like Cardi B, because y'all gonna be in them guts where that fantasy box it can't mask the smell of guts. Okay. Okay. I'm just telling you now. Yes, men. White brown them heads, okay? White round them, wrench it off. Wrench it. Wrench it. I don't care if you circumcised. I don't give no fuck. Go on in the creases and crevices of that head. Wipe all in that little tip of the hole as much as you can without hurting yourself. If you circumcised, bitch, I shouldn't be having this conversation with you. You know to pull that flapjack back. Y'all better stop playing. See, this is why I had sex in years. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because as a seer, I see a man and I be like, ooh. and then I really just settle my gaze on him, or I'll watch the kind of women that he deal with. Yes, men. If y'all looking to court me, I will look to see the type of women you dated, the women you like. If you got a social media, I'm gonna look at the bitches you follow. I want to know the hoes you like so I could determine what type of man you are. If you like certain girls, I'm not gonna deal with you because I know them hoes ain't clean. And you not finna play. I'm born in the 80s. We clean different. Live, I get it. And people will play on you. That's why I don't know. I don't even know what advice to give. I don't even know what advice to give anymore to how to stay safe. Other than don't let nobody raw dog y'all. Just don't raw dog no more unless y'all are deciding to take it there mutually. But don't just be out there raw dogging. Raw dog the person that you want to have kids with. It's no raw dogging is for kids. Raw dogging is to make babies. Bitch, this also goes on to the conversation with the girl, and I'm just ranting at this point because we ain't talked in a while. But let Auntie learn you something real quick. That ain't no psychic. Will testing not help? Sure, yes. Go get tested. Go get tested. But you, in between them tests, you don't know who that person done laid with. You don't know what they done picked up in between the test and your house. You take the test and you don't always get the results back instantly. Now they could come back clean the day they take the test, but in between them days from testing and going to your house, they might be done hit somebody. It's crazy out there. It's a different world. It's a different world. It used to be safer to raw dog. I don't know. It used to be safer. The only consequence was babies. It was STDs, but it wasn't this bad, bitch. I don't know. Everybody was raw dogging in my day and getting pregnant, but they wasn't getting all the STDs. Every now and then you'll get an STD and you'll be the taboo person. But the biggest concern back then was pregnant. Hmm. They had STDs, but I don't know. Either people wasn't talking about them. The closer we got to the digital age, the more I start hearing about gonorrhea and chlamydia more often. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not the judge, but and I ain't supposed to be giving sex advice because to each their own. I'm just saying it's a wild, wild west out there. Take care of yourself in a way that you know that nobody else is going to take better care than you. You can take a test and you could take a test with a person and y'all could exchange results. Um, but y'all gonna keep testing every time y'all hunch? Say you take a test and he take a test because he know that's what you're required to get in your draws. And now that y'all both tested, it's like, all right, let's just start fucking. But you don't know if he decide after that test and y'all decide to screw each other, you don't know if he gonna go and decide to also screw somebody else. And sometimes it's the screwing that builds the bacteria. So he could be clean until he go fuck another bitch and then fuck another bitch. And they could be clean, but the mixing of the vagina and the bacterials and the different pHs is going to create something in a little petri dish. It's different out here. The foods are different, the environment is different. So our germs are different. We creating shit these days. And sex is way more casual today. Everybody is fucking everybody. Sex ain't never been this just readily available. It's just sex is no different from eating. And nowadays you are like the ancient artifact if you have sexual discipline. It's just like they'll call you old if you say, I don't do this or I don't do that or I have this standard. You corny. That's weird. All you gotta do is take a plan B. All you gotta do is take a prep. What? I don't want to take none of that shit. I come from the days where we wore rubbers. Go get a rubber. Just go get one. And yes, I know it feel different, but not that different. Y'all acting like it's a big chasm between the rubber and the raw. It is not. It is not. The only way that's the case is if your dick is small. If it's too small, then yes, sometimes the rubber you need the rib to the veins and the ribs in your penis. Since it's small, you need to feel that. So wearing a condom, you got a little dick and you can't feel no veins. So yes, but if you normal size, it ain't that much different. Y'all just be wanting a raw dog. Y'all just be wanting a raw dog. Ain't that much different, child. Ain't that much different. I was dealing with a man who took me. Listen, I didn't have so many. I done had two men who took me all up and through there, and it wasn't nothing but a rubber, nothing but rubber. And child, listen, when it's good, when that thing is thangin', you could wrap that thing up in a sheet, and it's gonna still thang. The guys be the ones complaining about rubbers. Kick them to the curb. They trying to give you something. Men don't have. They not as prone to catching stuff as we have wet open wounds. They don't. So they don't give no fuck. They don't give no fuck. All they want to do is get up in there. They don't care about you and your vaginal health. So any man who complained about wearing a rubber, he would have no access to me because that off rip, that's a red flag to me. You trying to give me something. That means you know you got something, but you don't give no fuck. That means you don't care about catching nothing. You don't know what I got. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. That you ain't scared enough to catch nothing. Man like that can't touch me. Can't touch me. Can't touch me. Oh, you got a medical condition that say you can't wear rubbers? Then you need a wife. You need a wife, sir. You need to be trying to get married before you fuck. You need to marry somebody who want to take that risk with you for the long term because it ain't. You got a medical condition that say you can't wear rubber. I got a medical condition that say you can't go on me raw. That mean we ain't equally yoked. It ain't meant to be. We ain't fucking. We just ain't fucking. It's okay to not fuck. Is that what it is these days? I thought it was the girls who ain't want these men to wear condoms. It's the men complaining. Child. And y'all letting them. Y'all don't let these men do that to you. They trying to give you something. They trying to. Because soon as they give you something, then they feel like that's their coochie. They can hit it all the time. They feel like you ain't gonna hunch nobody else but them now because y'all both share something in common that you don't want to share with nobody else. So now that's their coochie. We got the same thing. So let's just fuck. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap. Y'all gonna be trapped in the clinic. Mm-mm. Don't let them do it. Child. I can see if you in love and people raw dog. I ain't gonna say if we people ain't raw dog and you in love, you in a relationship, go on raw dog. But not casually. Ladies, don't just be out here casually getting raw dogged. And gentlemen, you don't either, because these hoes is dirty. I'm a woman. These hoes ain't cleaning themselves the same no more. And they not going to the OBGYN no more either. Anytime I go, I only see women my age or older. I don't see no young hoes in the gynos. Never. I don't see them in the doctor's office at all. They must be doing virtual visits. I don't see these hoes nowhere at the PCP or at the gynecologist. Now that I think about it, I have not seen anybody younger than me in so long in these doctor's office that require regular care or preventative care. They're not getting checkups, man. They just not. And now that they got virtual visits, ain't nobody scooping up in there. Now they just asking them their symptoms, and the girls be lying. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. All right, y'all. I'm done. See, Erica, you gotta pay attention. These hoes ain't in there no more. They ain't in there. Where they at? And if they at the clinics getting checked up, I wouldn't know because I ain't at the clinic. I got insurance and I'm at the doctor's office. They might be at the clinics, but so y'all stay safe. Just everybody take very good care of yourself and your health all the way around. Protect your health and advocate for yourself. That's advocate for your own health. Nobody cares more about you than you. Everybody else cares about themselves and how you can benefit them. Advocate for yourself, please. I've been alive almost 39 years. I ain't never loved somebody so much to where I trick myself off. I just love him so much. I'm just gonna let him ski. Just do it. I have, but I snapped out so quick. Y'all, let me tell y'all something. I know y'all be thinking y'all so in love and you supposed to do love a certain way, but let me tell y'all something from a grown woman who done been through life and love and the other side of it. The realest love you can ever find from another person is when they don't ask you to go against any of your boundaries. They won't ask you, they won't judge you, and they won't drop no hints or none of that. Let them respect your boundaries. That's a green flag. That is a green flag. If you say I don't fuck raw and he says say less, I got magnums right here, go and let him hit then. He respect your boundaries. But when they go to come on, man. They trying to give you something. Don't do it, adorned. Listen, let me tell y'all something about love that I learned, not just from life, but also from spirit and studying. In the beginning, the Creator formed male and female and gave them dominion over this earth and said, I want y'all to develop this earth. I want y'all to rule it. You guys run this earth, populate it, build up communities, build up cities, and oversee it. Maintain this earth, populate it as well. You notice what was never mentioned? Fall in love and get married. Those came along because love is duty, love is responsibility and duty. Think about your family because that's your first experience with love, not with someone you're dating, with your family. Why? Because that is supposed to teach you what love means, duty and obligation to a bigger cause. The feelings and emotions just make it easier to do love, to do what we're placed here to do, and that's be human. Nobody said anything about catching feelings for anyone. And anybody who leads with feeling and emotions will find themselves in situations facing breakups and divorce because you're basing your relationship off of an emotion. It has to be something bigger than that that you both agree to hold each other accountable to. That is love. When you can say, I don't necessarily like you, but what we're doing is bigger than temporary emotions. So let's achieve this goal together. The first goal, the first job that the man and woman was given was to be fruitful, multiply, and have dominion over this earth. Emotions and sex came along, or sex is how we actually get that done, the populations. I mean, the repopulation, but the nice emotions that you feel is supposed to be complementary. It's supposed to make the medicine go down smoother. You learn from your family that you love them, even if you don't like all of your family. For instance, you may not like your cousin, but if you see them getting beat up, what do? You jump in, right? You may not like all your family, but you guys are usually focused on building generational wealth, generational security. You guys have generational re- um, connections with each other. So it's bigger than just how you feel at the moment. And even if you don't talk to them, there's still some, that's my family. I love them, but I just don't talk to them. I don't da 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 da. And then you get older and then you start going to school and making friends. That is your second lesson with love before you get old enough to date. That's the last lesson with love. Why? Because you're supposed to have learned what love means before you get old enough to date. Your first experiences with your family. You all have a duty and an obligation to each other because you share DNA. Then you make friends. That's where you start getting to learn how you get to choose your family and the people that you want to, do life with. But you usually do that, in elementary school when you start making friends. And no, you're not in love. However, you have a best friend. Oh, I'm in kindergarten and my best friend's name is Ashley. You love them. You love Ashley. You love them like a sister, not in a romantic way, but you love them because you guys are friends. You have a lot in common. You like playing with each other on the playground. You go to each other's house and all this other stuff, but it has nothing to do with sex, does it? Then when you become an adult, that's when the last version of love or your last lesson with love comes in. And that's where the be fruitful and multiply. Now you're supposed to be courting someone that you want to create a family with. If you're looking to court someone based off of emotion, then emotions will rule your relationship. But if you're courting based off of the way, let's say the elites court, because really marrying for love is a poor person's sport. The elites marry, they'll either marry other elite families so that they can create more wealth for themselves, more generational wealth. They'll stay married for a bigger picture because it's something bigger, a benefit that's bigger than just them. Africans do it all the time. African men, specifically Nigerians, they will go and they will have girlfriends all over the place, but they will very rarely leave their wife that they have children with because what they've built, the family unit that they built, that's their legacy. And that is where they will live on. So they don't leave that. Even if they don't necessarily feel the same way they do for their wife, for their side chick, they love and respect their wife and the reason that they married each other. So I say all that to say you don't have to just cancel love when you're dating, but please let love make the relationship, let love be the cherry on top. And don't let that butterfly feeling be the sole reason that you choose someone because feelings fade. Emotions are like water, they go up and down. They have to have contribute something else to your life if you're going to merge your life with them. The commandment wasn't to fall in love. The commandment was to get together and build up this earth. So, marriage should be about creating something. You should be creating something, something that you can grow and something that lives after you, your contribution to this earth. Let it be a business, let it be a family. And if it's none of that, then you guys get together because you guys choose to do life together for more than just love or more than just I need to be loved and that person makes me feel good. They're nice to me. They don't cheat. Find something else. Find something else of value in the person that you want to marry or make a life with because those feelings are going to go up and down and those are going to be the times where your relationship and your marriage is tested. It could be nothing else that you guys have other than those feelings. And then when the feelings are gone, Now you're looking at each other crazy, or you guys start cheating. And I always say cheating is a symptom of a problem in a relationship, it's not the root. And I'm not one of those women who fall apart when cheating because I see the cracks before the cheating happens. And those cracks are what I want to fix. The cheating is just a symptom. Cheating is just a symptom. A person cheats either because they want to, but that's a symptom because that means you've married someone who just chooses that they like to cheat. And if you're not okay with having an open marriage, then before they started cheating, if there is no rift in the relationship or y'all ain't having problems, and the person just likes to cheat, and that probably is something that could be caught before you settle down with them. But most of the time, when we base our relationships off love, we go in with rose tinted glasses. We're looking at it with butterflies and feelings. In that way, we can see what we want to see and not see what we don't want to see. And even if we see a red flag, we'll say, okay, well, maybe it's this. And then we'll start trying to compromise. Absolutely the fuck not. Cheating is a symptom. For me, I knew that my marriage was falling apart before the other person stepped in the picture. And when the other person did get into the picture, I wasn't even any more madder than I was 2 years before, when I can foresee the changes happening in our relationship. And I addressed it then. I started feeling like we were growing apart, and my husband was getting, disinterested in me. And I addressed it then. And I said, listen, I feel like we're heading in a strange direction. Can we talk about it now? He was talking about I was tripping. A year and a half later, he would talk to me about his day. And then I don't think he noticed when he started incorporating this woman named Kim into his, yeah, and this new bus driver, man, she did it, man, she's so fun, da, da, da. And I just used to listen. I used to listen. And I see, I thought he likes this girl. He likes this new bus driver, Kim. Listening to him talk about his day, man, she came over there and we was joking around, man. And the more I start hearing stories with this new bus driver, I just be like, he's got a crush on someone. I ain't trip. I actually kind of thought it was cute. We've been together for so long. It's like, okay, he got a crush on somebody. That's human. Then he got a second job, a night job. So he never had to come home. Work for the school board that day and then go and stock a store at night. But it's the night shift, so they ain't really doing nothing. And he wouldn't want to be on the phone with me at night, but I know he'd be on that phone all night, but not with me. So I knew when the cheating happened, but the changes in the relationship happened way before I had evidence of cheating. So when the cheating happened, I did, oh my God, he's cheating on me. No, because I saw the rift in our relationship way before. That was a symptom, that was an after effect. It had already started to change. So for me, my heart broke once I started seeing him not be invested in our relationship. And then I knew what would happen next. So when we separate, I didn't even I shit when he said he wanted to separate. I said, "What? You need to go and be single for a while? How about you take 6 months? I'll step back and let you date for 6 months because we grew up together. So if you need this as a human so that you don't feel like you missed out on something and you're choosing to be married, then go do that. I ain't tender. Just make sure on your way back in after 6 months, you get tested. And I'm not gonna fuck with you while you're doing it. But he didn't even want to do that. He wanted to just, anyway. So pay attention because cheating is a symptom. And usually the signs are there way before. that act happens. Trying to learn you something so that y'all don't be caught off guard and so that y'all don't be sliding down the wall when a man cheat, acting like that's the worst thing that could happen because you could be in a situation where the man could be miserable, but you don't know because he ain't cheat yet. So you just going around like everything is perfect because to you it is because your deal breaker is cheating. What if his deal breaker is something that you do that you don't think should be a deal breaker, but it is? What if his deal breaker is that you spend too much time on social media and all you want to do is just be on the blogs or post pictures and stuff? Like the girls Sarah and Desmond, that's exactly what happened to them. And I do think he did whatever he could to get up out of that relationship. And then did she slide down a wall when the cheating allegations came out? Yes. Now, I didn't follow them closely, but I had seen them on social media anymore, and I could never follow them. I could never watch that stuff. Why? Because of her. She was annoying as shit. Annoying as shit. And I could see through her husband's reaction, Desmond. He was just trying to be a good sport. I knew that wasn't going to last too much longer because they were getting more fame from her being extra and doing more extra stuff. And the more people boost that shit up, the more extra she was gonna get. I knew that shit wasn't gonna work, and I didn't feel bad for him cheating at all. I just did it. Tired. I was tired. I was like, man, hell no. That's immature. I don't like that shit. She was very immature and did a lot for social media. And then now he's the bad guy because he stepped out. No, I think that they're both ruined their relationship because she missed reading the room. She didn't read that her husband wasn't with that shit. That could be his deal breaker. Cheating ain't the worst thing. It's sometimes it's the last thing. So that's one of those scenarios to where women's deal breaker is usually the cheating, but because their deal breaker is cheating, as long as they're not cheating on their man, then they don't really look to think if anything else is wrong in the relationship except for cheating. And that usually saddens me for relationships because I feel like the men usually get the bad rep for cheating, but by the time they cheat, they usually be done silently been putting up with stuff that the woman does or doesn't do. But because men don't usually nag at stuff or they have a way of communicating, but you can miss it. Women can miss it. If a man says something, it ain't gonna come out the same way a woman will say it. I really need for us. I really think you should do. A man ain't gonna say it like that, but they'll say it. And women can miss it because they don't communicate the way we do when we have an issue, but they'll communicate to you if you just pay attention. Just pay attention to your significant other. And I learned that through life that because I'm not a tender girl. So I've forgiven my ex husband for like early on before we were married, when we were young. Yeah, he was still trying to entertain other girls, and I find out and beat him up. And every now and then I pull out my file on the little young girl if I caught him slipping somewhere. I ain't saying I ain't. I used to pull fire out on people. That was my toxic habit. I was gonna pull some fire. Absolutely. I was gonna show up to your door with my fire. And then we'd argue about it, and I used to tell him, "Don't play with me like that." We were young though, but once we got married, I don't think we had problems like that until the end of our relationship. We had other regular problems, but it wasn't cheating. That didn't happen until I became an entrepreneur. That changed our relationship. But yes, I don't know how we got here. I just was enjoying you guys' company. I'm gonna go for real now. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Love y'all. Bye. Oh, and y'all don't have to take none of my advice. I'm just an auntie that's just lived a little bit. I ain't got all the answers, Sway, but I know a little something, something. It worked for me. Um, don't say auntie ain't never tried to learn you nothing. I'm just saying to end this when it comes to relationship because relationships end so much these days and I like to see them last. The superficial shit has to go. And it has to go before you enter into a relationship so that superficial things won't be the death of your relationship. If you are with someone for something more than just emotions, then you'll have enough strength to endure things together. You could be able to grow with each other instead of just canceling a relationship because a person cheated. You could be throwing out a listen, you could be the issue. The cheating, shit. Sometimes that's just how people respond. Not saying it's right. I'm not saying accept it. I'm just saying that there are things that ruin relationships before cheating happens. And women are typically the ones who miss out on those other things because it's not cheating. And we be aggy. We be aggy. We be getting on these men nerves. And if he's a good man and he never checks us and say, come on now, you're getting on my nerves, then we'll continue getting on their nerves until they're like Desmond. So we have to know moderation. A man ain't always going to tell us when we're doing the most or too much. That's our job to know when to pull it back and give them a little razzle dazzle and then, you know, pull it back some. I'm only saying this because I want y'all to find love and not divorce because it'll put you in survival mode like me. All right. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you guys for caring about my health, the ones who cared. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Love you.